Oh, honestly, every time I hear that, it gets me in the mood to watch. I might go and watch Matrix again.
Well, lucky for you. Well, have I got a surprise for you, Dan?
What's happening? Well, we're back again. All four of us again. Hello,
did it.
Hello, Harry. Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
Hello, Ollie.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Oh my God, I'm actually really excited about this one. I think we've been buzzing for this episode for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And Harry is giggling like a little girl because he can't stop smiling. Right, so, well, I'll just say it. This is episode 10, so it's weird that we've actually been able to do 10 episodes. Well, technically 11, but we've actually done 10 episodes.
Yeah.
10 episodes of the Missing Scene podcast.
And we're still going.
Muzzle top.
Man, it feels like I've only done like 4 or 5. Oh, no, wait.
This is number 3 for you, Harry,
Yeah,
right?
I think so, not counting the one that
We
didn't.
re-recorded, yeah or had
lost
to.
the time. Yeah.
But, you know...
The not safe for work one.
It's
That's
coming
why
out.
That's why I didn't make the air.
It's coming
too
out.
risque for...
It's going out, yeah. So, because it's episode 10, we thought we'd do something a little bit special, didn't we, boys? I mean, this is something I feel like a series of films we've all been quite passionate about, right?
Mhm.
Would you
Yeah, I mean,
also
if the title, description, and thumbnail didn't give it away,
Yeah.
Oh,
that little sting of the musical score will.
And if it still doesn't give it away,
Yeah.
then what's going on?
It'll put you out of your misery.
Yeah. So yeah, we've made 10 episodes, and we're going to celebrate by going big. We are doing a series special on The Matrix. So we're going to discuss the original trilogy and our memories from the films, our favourite moments, why it's considered a benchmark in sci-fi action. But it doesn't end there. We are also going to be, after discussing the trilogy, we're going to be having a special Missing Scene podcast screening of The Matrix Resurrections. So believe it or not, 2 of us haven't seen this 4th installment.
I've been waiting so long to watch this.
I mean,
It came on Now TV. It came off Now TV.
and I'm the other that hasn't seen it. So me and Charlie haven't seen it. Ollie and Harry have. And afterwards we're going to jump back on. After we watch it, we're going to jump back on, and we're going to have like immediate reaction kind of little chat. So it'll be really interesting to see what me and Charlie think of it when we've seen it like 10 minutes after. To you two that
You have
had
no
to sit
idea
and
how
sit and
interesting
stew it
to
for a little
see.
bit.
But through
I'm excited.
the marvels of modern technology, you listening at home, if there are anybody people listening at home, you will have a seamless transition from our sort of discussion straight into our reaction.
Oh,
So we're
yes.
going to time travel. We're going to pause,
No,
then go.
we're going to leave the
we'll give
mics
a
running,
clap.
and they'll just hear it quietly in the background of us listening to a 2.5-hour movie.
Sorry, my laughing is really loud. It's coming through on my headphones as really crunchy and crispy. So if we're giving you
Ooh.
ear rape right now, I do apologise. But yeah, we're gonna watch the film, and then we're gonna jump back on, and we're gonna talk about all of our thoughts, feelings, and
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit more of, I'd say, a relaxed one. We tried to say that we're gonna time ourselves a little bit, so it's not. But then last episode we done was over 2 hours, and that was just for one film. So we're not deep diving into it this time. We're just having a general chat about our favourite moments, what it meant to us, and stuff like that, aren't we?
because I was gonna say, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about this. Upon rewatching the films today, and I know how excited we're going to get talking about them. I think we could easily do an episode on each of the original 3 films
yeah.
at a later date.
Yeah.
And I don't want, and I feel like Harry feels the same way because we've both seen this new one. I don't want the first 3 films to overshadow the next one.
Of course,
The focus of this episode is The Matrix Resurrections. We're just going to preamble it. With a
Yeah.
I'm doing a little Donald Trump hand gesture here. We're gonna preamble it a little bit with our thoughts.
What's longer than a preamble? Because that's the word we need to use.
Yeah.
But
Foreplay.
2 hours of foreplay.
The Matrix Erections.
Right. So we crack on with the first one. Just quickly. So the first one. For those who haven't seen The Matrix, first of all, where have you been? And secondly, I'll just give a little brief synopsis. These are off of Ollie's favourite website, IMDb. It's literally like a sentence, not Wikipedia. So Matrix released in 1999. So when a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo into Let me start again. When a beautiful stranger.
He's the one that hasn't been drinking.
When a beautiful stranger leads computer hacker Neo to a forbidding underworld, he discovers the shocking truth. The life he knows is an elaborate deception of an evil cyber intelligence. Now, this had a budget of 63 million and grossed 467 million back in 1999, which for a film that pretty much I don't think anybody really knew the concept for, like, because didn't we have this discussion on one of the previous episodes? Like the whole marketing thing was just what is the Matrix or something, wasn't it? So for it to do that amount of numbers is pretty solid, and it's obviously now it's just grown and grown in popularity over the years that it's been out. Where was the first time we all watched it, or owned it, or anything?
I remember renting it from Blockbuster, and
Unk.
Yeah.
I'm saying that as if
not
I don't
me.
have. Yeah, sorry.
Definitely with parents.
Yeah.
Remember watching it and then rewinding it because it was VHS.
Oh, having to put
and
it back
watching it again because I had no clue what was going on.
Yeah. I think when I watched it, so this is 99, so I was 7 when it came out, but obviously I don't think I watched it properly until Reloaded and Revolutions came out. So I might have watched it the year before. I remember my dad had it on VHS in the
Clamshell VHS.
Clamshell, hard cardboard case one. Hopefully he's still got it. But yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was my first thing, and just being obviously you're so young. You're like you can't. I was watching it. I just really enjoyed it for the action, everything about it. But first watch, I did not understand. And now I watch it, and I you know.
It's a weird one in that it isn't that complicated, but again, I think we're all at the age where we saw it very young. Like it's a film that lures you in with the cool shit, and then it does have its deeper stuff that when you're like 9 or 10.
So when did you first watch it?
I watched it probably about age 9 or 10. Recorded off Channel 5 on a VHS.
Nice.
And my dad had already seen it. My mum couldn't stand sci-fi, so I watched it with my nan. She loved it, to be fair. I really wanted to watch it because I wanted to play the Enter the Matrix video, the game.
Yes,
cool.
yeah.
We can get into some of the shit that's in some of the video games at some point, because boy, they went some places.
So are they canon? Are the video games canon?
There is technically stuff from the Matrix Online that is important to this. Like, if you want to do the deep dive, you got to watch some cutscenes from a game discontinued in 2011.
What about you, Ollie?
So I was actually born after the film came out.
Yes.
So I don't have any first-hand memories of the marketing or anything like that, even for the sequels. I remember the trilogy were always, as a kid, growing up in the 2000s, the Matrix trilogy was the like bread and butter of ITV4. So like you could guarantee that those films were always on a Saturday or Sunday night. And I remember putting them on out of curiosity, like 6 or 7, and being freaked out, particularly like the club hell stuff in the third one, or whatever, just being like, why is everybody dressed so like weird and everything? And then I, as I got a little bit older, so I would have been the same sort of age as Harry, and I sort of read about it in books and stuff or on Wikipedia, and I knew the significance of it. I was like, The Matrix is a film that I've got to watch. And by that point, me and my dad had been watching. He'd been sort of like initiating me into like great action films and stuff. So I taped it, same as Harry, on the TV and watched it during the day. And my mum came in halfway through and said, I saw this in cinema, it's rubbish. And I was like, thanks, Mum. And I really enjoyed it. And I didn't watch the sequels until a lot later. And that's because I was sort of duped into thinking that the sequels were rubbish. Because everybody online always said they're rubbish. And then I watched them when I was about 15, 16. And I was like, these are really cool.
Yeah.
These are really, really cool.
Like, I think what's really good about these is that the first one's obviously the action for a 1999 film, the action, even something like the CGI, everything is really solid. Like the action sequences are solid. The music that goes with it is solid. And then each one, it just steps it up in size, in like magnitude, like the sets and the fights are even bigger. And then the third one, it just somehow gets even bigger. And I think this is such a good way of doing a trilogy, is that you don't just go big from the beginning and just keep it like that size all the way through. They've literally just scaled up and up and up. One of the other things I didn't realise was that Matrix Reloaded was released the same year as Revolutions, 6 months apart, which I didn't realise until so Matrix Reloaded released in 2003, May 2003, and then Revolutions was November 2003. So they filmed it back to back and then released it all in the same year.
Yep.
I never knew that until I started doing.
Because you've got all the stuff at the end of the second one ends with and now
and it goes straight away. It's straight into
the Sentinels.
It baffles me because Revolutions I watched this morning, and that was the second time I've seen it.
Really?
In your life?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I think I'm only on like 2 watchings of it, and the second one was last couple of years or so.
No way.
Again, I remember watching the third one, and then people being like just shitting on it, and then I was like, oh, well,
yeah. So I
don't like it. That kind of mentality.
I was then. I'm not trying to say that I've always been a fan, but I think because I was so young when I started watching them. When you're young and you see stuff like The Matrix, you're like, this is fucking incredible. Like compared to some other things that you watch possibly at that age, you're like, this is madness. Yeah. So I think I've said before on a different podcast or at some point to you guys, every Easter we used to get an Easter egg and a DVD, and it'd be film and chocolate day basically. And I got the Matrix Trilogy box set from my parents, and that is what I literally. I don't think I even saw my family for most of the morning because I just literally went upstairs and just watched all 3. Yeah. So obviously the first time I got to see Reloaded and Revolutions was literally straight one after the other, straight away, boom, boom, because I wasn't old enough to go cinema and watch it. And I just fell in love. I was just like, it was just one of those. It's a core memory for me, just remembering getting that specific trilogy on that specific day and then just hammering it for the morning.
I have a little anecdote that I think a lot of people that have the same sort of interests as us might be able to relate to. So we've alluded to this before, but we all met at a cinema. That's where the 4 of us know each other from, and that's what we worked at, right? Yep. And the Matrix films were one of those things where if you were at all sort of, and I imagine that this sort of stuff happened across the world in places like cinemas, blockbusters, comic book shops, HMVs, Hot Topics, whatever. I can remember dead evenings working in the cinema where you'd spend 4 or 5 hours just talking about shit. Yeah. And The Matrix was one of those things that used to come up on shift all the time. Yeah. There were people where I can remember having genuine, like, you'd spend 3-4 hours and then a customer would come up and try and talk to you and you'd be like, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to talk about whether the twins are ghosts or vampires right now. Like, I don't want to. And I remember there was once, and I think I asked you guys this same question because somebody put it to me. And these sorts of nights sort of reinvigorated as a late teenager my interest in The Matrix because I didn't so I would like have conversations like Closing Gallery and we just spend sort of 4 or 5 hours discussing The Matrix, and it was from you that I heard about like the Animatrix and stuff like that, and I would go home and then sort of like do a deep dive. But somebody asked me, would you go to the Zion orgy from the second one?
I remember you having this conversation.
And yeah, just like...
So what was your answer?
Well, yeah, obviously. What are you going to do? Go home? Fucking Morpheus for 100 years. You're just going to go, yeah, mate, cheers, and then just fuck off. Like, no, you're going to stay and get lit with everybody, aren't you? I say get lit. I mean, you're going to have a dance and a boogie. And
you're the only person around this table that could say that. Any of us say it.
Working at the cinema reignited my passion for these films. And then we did a limited re-release of the first one in IMAX. I think we did it more than once because I've seen it twice in the cinema. And it was great. And I took my friend who had never seen it before. But his sister was a fan, I think. And she texted him beforehand and was like, oh, you can't believe you're watching The Matrix. And he enjoyed it. It was okay. But it's one of those things where it's been parodied so many times.
You've seen every shot.
Exactly. If you're somebody that hasn't watched it before,
you know an iconic line or like say like a shot or a sequence that everyone's seen or knows something about it.
It's quite sad because there are so many of those films that like are just so iconic, but that have been so sort of like parodied or ripped from or whatever, that if somebody watches it now today and they somehow haven't been exposed to it before, the brilliance of it might be lost on them. And I think that was the effect that it had on my friend, because he's like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, well, if you've grown up and you've you before you came here, you were playing Cyberpunk 2047 or whatever, and you're seeing The Matrix for the first time in 2022, it's not going to be that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think that if you especially with, that's why I get the feeling that, because let's face it, Resurrections didn't do well when it came out.
No.
And I get the feeling a lot of that is because I think part of it is that people were put off because everyone, for some random reason, there's this thing going around that the next 2 and 3 are crap when they're not. Obviously, they're nowhere near, they're people will probably say they're nowhere near the level of the first one, because the first one was so unique and there was nothing like it cinema-wise, like the design and all stuff on such a big kind of like popular scale and like wide release, there probably wasn't anything like it at the time. So then, and it was like a 4-year gap between the first and the next two. I don't know whether releasing them both the same year was a bit of a detriment to the third film.
It's weird because by the time that I'd caught up, like I remember the second one being a really big deal. And then even like, I can't wait to watch the third one. The third one always feels like it just came and went to me. Like I don't remember that getting a big cinema run. Like I don't know anyone that went to see it in the cinemas. Like it was...
Well, the second one ended up holding the record for the highest grossing R-rated movie until Deadpool.
Yeah, like again, I remember that being huge. And then...
750-ish million, I think it grossed in the end. So... Obviously, the second one did really well. So would the third one maybe being a year apart, would it have given it more time to settle? And
I think it also might just be a case of we grew up with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that had the opinions back in 2004 that the second one is shit, they're not going to have changed their minds. They're probably doubled down on it. So we grew up with it. The same way that you guys here probably will be disgusted by this. I fucking love the Star Wars prequels. I do. And I unashamedly, for everything that Harry was saying to me about the Matrix sequels, I feel the same way about the Star Wars prequels. And there are probably loads of people that at the time, like my dad, who grew up on the first 3, they were like, prequels are shit, mate. They're really stupid. But I think that for the most part, the Disney films are not that great. And there's going to be a generation of kids who are like my younger sister's age, who in 10, 15 years' time, when they have platforms and are able to write and actually voice their opinions on a large scale, will say, actually, no, the Star Wars films, the Disney films are pretty good, actually. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that probably plays a way bigger part than we initially give it credit for.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So if we're thinking about the first film then, like our kind of, you'd say the most iconic bits or the bits that really like stick with you forever. Kind of what Harry looks like he's ready to go.
I mean, for me, it was probably being too young to see like Neo get his fucking mouth sealed up. That
was freaky.
That freaked me out.
And then the then tracking device going in his belly button.
Like, bug shit. The first time you see so the snippet that I saw long before I actually saw the film was like when he wakes up from the pod and is like covered in just the goo and the cables and stuff. So I was convinced for like 3 years that The Matrix was a horror movie because that was the only bit that I had seen from it. But then we're all gonna have the same bits here. It's the doing the bend over bit. It's
the bend over bit.
How would you describe that? The folding backwards bit.
His bullet dodging.
Bullet time.
The bullet time bit, right? Like that is.
So bullet time was revolutionary, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
it was the first time it ever been done where basically they have cameras just like as they're recording, just fucking take. I can't remember how many frames a second it is, but it just basically zooms around them in a circle.
There were versions. There were versions of the film that played in the cinema that had a small documentary before the film played.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Because I've seen the document, because it's all.
So if it's on the special features, it'll be that documentary.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Because again, that's when you obviously some of the CGI now is obviously you could possibly say obviously it's starting to look a little dated.
It's very, but especially in the sequels.
Especially, but yeah, like that bullet time is again because they've done it a few times, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because like it's Trinity at the beginning with the just quick before we get a little bit too into it. I went to the IMAX screening for the latest anniversary ones they did. I can't remember. I think it's 20. I went to the IMAX thing and just sitting in the cinema and it being because it was the first time I'd ever experienced it in the cinema, and sitting there in pitch black, and then all of a sudden the whole room just turns green from the code was a hair-raising moment. It's just so good. I just had to part because obviously I was right at the beginning.
I was 13 when the sequels came out, and I definitely watched both in the cinema.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, just the whole 15 kind of. Yeah. What would you? Can you remember anything from it?
Not really. Not really. I think I went to see the second one more than once at the cinema because I would have probably gone with my mum and then my dad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then the third one, I remember going just once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The third one's a bit of an enigma.
The third one, I think, and we'll get into it, but I think the third one is a very misunderstood film. I think if you go into it and again, boy, when we get to this one, but if you go in again, seeing the Wachowskis speak about it, and again, if you've not seen the ending of the Path of Neo video game, the way that they retcon the ending of the third one, which is incredible, but like it's designed to sort of let you down, like it is designed to just not be the big climax, and I think that stuck with people in a way that they were like, well, I wanted to see Neo and Agent Smith fucking destroy a city, and that's kind of not what happened. Like Neo ends up as the hero, but not in like a, cheering sort of way. It's like a, it's self-sacrifice and all that stuff just didn't hit for a lot of people, especially if you're of the opinion that the first one is the only good one and I just want guns, more guns or whatever. The third one is not a guns, more guns film.
Well, that's the whole point, is that all the other two afterwards have evolved from the first one, because
the second one is a complete rebuttal of everything the first one says. The second one is Lily and Lana looking at everybody that took the wrong message from the first one and said, actually, fuck you. And the whole scene with the architect is amazing.
I think the whole franchise basically is. There was a great comic that was going, or like webcomic going around recently of Alan Moore looking at a load of people in like V masks and Rorschachs of just like, oh god, what have we done? And like that is totally the same deal here of just like probably one of the most misunderstood films of like, you've taken the wrong things from this and just a constant attempt to be like, no, please, like.
See, I'm of the thought that I know there's like, I've never really read into it that much, but like you say, like, there's all these it's like we've said, it's one of the most overanalyzed films of all time.
Yeah,
there's theories coming out of every orifice possibly going, but to me, I don't really. I know there probably are there's some context that you could just easily read, but I don't really look at it that way. I look at it more just from an entertainment kind of. This is
one of the reasons why it works so well is that it ain't that deep. Like when people a lot of the higher end criticism of it is like, well, it doesn't quite lean into this postmodern theory. It doesn't do this and this and this, and it's like, no, because it's just a really fucking good action movie.
Yeah.
Like the reason why this is, and I think there's always been especially because this took a lot from like anime stuff. This took a lot from smaller things that weren't big in the same way. I think there's a lot of communities that are like, well, they stole our ideas and then dumbed them down and then made them for a mass audience. And it's like, okay, so you're saying people are loving the same idea that you enjoyed, and that's a bad thing?
Like I couldn't think of a main film or a film that big or to that wide of an audience that literally has so much martial arts fighting and like the whole like, without I know kung fu
without and specifically being a martial arts
exactly
film.
Like you say, it's bringing something that a mass audience probably wouldn't be bothered about and mashing them all together.
And that is not a bad thing. Like
there have been people who have literally written their their master's diplomas on why Morpheus' ship is called the Nebuchadnezzar, and they're like, every title, every character name, every location, almost every word is drawing from some sort of great background of philosophy, of world religions, of theology, all these sorts of different things. But like Harry says, like it fundamentally, it's just you don't need to know any of that shit. It still is a really entertaining film.
The reason why all of that is so good is because you get people getting pissed off at it of like, well, it isn't that clever, and it's like, yeah, they know. You can just imagine them scribbling the stuff down there with the biggest grin on their face because it's it's fun.
Do you think it's because when it first got
doing this sneaky like reference to shit is fun, and if you get it, it's fun.
Do you think that it got over kind of like when people were seeing it were kind of like confused as to what Matrix and couldn't really gather around the concept of the Matrix isn't a real world, but the real world is still like that whole concept was like people got confused that people just it kind of like a bit like today, like if one person says it's confusing that, then well, there's got to be so much meaning behind it because it's just that little bit confusing.
Yeah, again, it's like I said, it isn't that deep, but that is what makes it work. Like if you went deeper, if you made it more philosophical, if you made it have all the meaning that people want, like no one wants to watch that movie. It's not a fun film at that point.
It's kind of similar to the to episode 3 Shawshank Redemption when you told us about the whole Jesus theory from Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. Because of Ollie talking about the prequels, you said episode 3 the Shawshank Redemption. It's like that's not the subtitle. How is that the subtitle of that film? I'm very confused.
Sorry, I just want to say, if I had to pick a single favourite element from
the first one.
Yeah, from the first one. So do you want to do yours first, Charlie? So we were going around clockwise.
Come back to me.
Honestly,
I think my favourite moment would probably just have to be Joe Pantoliano's whole performance.
Just wanting to eat the steak.
I was going to say
how can he be the one if he's dead?
So Charlie
my
favourite
scene. Yeah, my favourite scene is when Joe Pantoliano is unplugging people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It is, and also the whole, about the like Jesus link. And
I apologise for shouting so loud. I just got really into it.
Because like I read a thing that like Cypher is Judas and all that shit. I was just like, he might be, but
but Cypher
when he's eating that steak, and he's just
ignorance is bliss. He's just chewing on it, and he's just
So we have a deal.
Do you know what,
Mr. Reagan. There's a theory that he becomes Ronald Reagan because he says, I want to be someone important, like an actor. I want to be an actor.
And then
there's a theory that he gets reinserted into the Matrix and he is Ronald Reagan. Google it.
No, I believe you. I believe you, but
because his name is Mr. Reagan.
I mean, there's so much good. There's so many good things. Like even just like the name Cypher. I just love that Cypher, Tank, Dozer.
It just sounds cool.
It sounds so cool. Like it doesn't need to have a meaning behind it.
Is this also the point though when I mentioned did we have it on record? Did the recording go anywhere when I point out that Neo is an anagram of 1 and you two lost your fucking mind?
Yeah, I did.
I did.
What? Yeah. What? Oh, that we did.
I wasn't looking for it.
No, I wasn't actively looking for stuff. Yeah. What are you looking at this out for?
Come on, guys. What do you mean you wasn't actively looking? I'm not actively looking for the fact that Homer is yellow, but I still know this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
sorry to out you on that, but
I know it's obvious.
To be fair, you brought up my Hot Wheels collection last time, so this is.
Yeah, no fair play.
When did I do that? Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. The tracks already, folks.
If that's the case, then we are even.
We're even.
But I again, like, obviously it makes sense now and it's obvious now. But to me, Neo was just a cool fucking name.
Yeah,
Morpheus,
like
a cool hacker name.
Yeah. I think couple of bits that I love are probably the first when he fights Morpheus for the first time. And like just that whole, and then he's just like, "You think that's air you're breathing now?" And it's just like, like there's so many iconic lines. Free your mind. The whole jump thing. The lady in the red dress scene. The whole like before you even get to like any of the main fighting scenes, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah. And it's just continuous. Like even though those scenes aren't action, they're engrossing. Yeah. Like him explaining the Matrix to Neo when he's like in the red chair and all that, and it's just brilliant.
And like it's weird going back to it because I didn't know anything particularly, especially like first time I watched it, I didn't know anything about the Wachowskis or whatever. But this was their second fucking film. Their first film was a very small indie lesbian bondage drama or bondage thriller. Like the idea that
it's very good.
I know.
I've got it on Arrow Video.
Hopefully, you might be seeing it in a cinema very soon. Bound, it's called. But the amount of like, for all of this stuff to already appear so iconic, all the shit happening in like the white rooms, all the shit of like when you've got the shots of like the multiple TVs and it's zooming in, like there is so much confidence in this film. For a second film, it's fucking incredible. Yeah, I know some films use slow mo too much, but I don't feel like there's quite a lot of slow mo action in this. Like even the lobby fight scene. The lobby fight scene is again, it's incredible. Just the way he does the cartwheel in slow motion, and then he cocks the gun as he's doing the cartwheel, and then just carries on cartwheeling. The lobby fight scene is the the bit that I always want to be like the deleted scene from that sequence is just like 5 minutes before they walk in, one of the security guards just being like, "Yep, last day before retirement, 25 years without incident." Oh shit! Which is basically the people they're going up against in that scene. It's just like, there's Jerry working the security counter.
I know that this this sort of goes without saying, but I think because of that, maybe when people talk about these films nowadays, they sort of gloss over it. But I know that the whole sort of like cyberspace, tech anxiety stuff had been done in films before, and it had been done like sort of 40, 50 years before. There's like Twilight Zone episodes and stuff about this sort of stuff. But I don't think, when you take into account that like most people in America didn't even have a computer in their house by this point, to understand so amazingly what the internet could be and what cyberspace could be and what the capabilities of this new tool were, and to put it so amazingly into a film, and to like, this is before we get into all of the amazing action stuff. I mean, the action is the best part about it, but you take it away and it's still a really compelling and amazingly astute and ahead of its time film about technology and cyberspace and the internet. Just like, I think you could show this film in computing classes today and it would still have a really succinct understanding of what code is and stuff like that.
Well,
like
it's probably right now is still just as relevant with what's going on with AI.
It's more relevant.
Yeah.
It's like, the point is that this came out like, well, we didn't get our computer until I was like 2-3 years old, and like I remember when YouTube was invented and stuff like that, and the fact that this film came out nearly 7 years before all of these institutions that kids today have just grown. I think that's maybe why young people or people going to see it today that haven't been exposed to it before might lose, or the effect of it might be lost, or the insignificance of it might be lost on them. Because if you've grown up in a completely
so much
digital
technology
world,
now,
you don't understand how amazingly ahead of its time this film is. And that's coming from someone who was born after it came out.
I feel like a lot of that is, and again, I will be singing the Wachowskis' praises a lot here, but like, it's so much of they knew the community that they were writing about. You can tell how I would be saying this a lot, but you can tell how personal this is to them. You look at this compared to something like the movie Hackers that came, which no disrespect to that, but when they're like rolling around on roller skates and stuff like that, whereas this isn't real, but you can tell that they knew what they wanted. They knew who they were writing about. They knew who they were writing for. And again, for better or worse in terms of what people have taken away from it. But it's a film about a community that is definitely coming from people that understand what community means and what their community look like.
I think that might be a really good way for us to move on to Reloaded.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, just before that,
we need some Charlie here.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, was you agreeing?
Yeah, I was going to say, are you going to come back?
Agreeing?
No, I was just going to mention they wanted all of the actors to read 3 books, but I can't remember what the books were. But one of them is, the book where he opens.
So that is
with all his discs in.
That is Jean Baudrillard, I believe. But that is another postmodernist academic. A groan of all hands going off the academic. But no.
Now, I think the end of that film for me is like you. So we just literally watched him kick the shit out of Smith easily, and then like the whole, even the bit where he's blown, like he like, this sounds mad, when he enters him. And then his forehead goes massive. That freaked me out. As a kid, that freaked me out a little bit. But he does that so easily. And then, what other better way to end the film than thinking, oh, well, he's all powerful now. And then he starts fucking flying.
And then Rage Against the Machine
kicks in. And I was like, I finished watching that. I was like, yes! I was like, yeah, it was so good. Yeah.
This might be a really niche deep cut, but as a kid, I always thought when Hugo Weaving's head starts to disform and disfigure, he looks like the painting from Ghostbusters 2. Anyway, sorry, Charlie, we cut you off. What's your favourite moment from the first film?
He said the cipher scene. The cipher scene. He takes. We were messaging yesterday, and he was said he was just watching, and it was like, I'm so tense. He was like, I've just watched the cipher scene where he's unplugging, and it's so tense. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's
insane.
Yeah, I think Morpheus is. Oh no, we'll get over to a general roundup of stuff, but yeah. Right, so move on to second one. So Matrix Reloaded. So the
best one in the trilogy.
Yep.
So like,
thank you.
So like, what? 4 years later, just a quick. So last time I read the last synopsis out, you gave me a weird look of that doesn't make. It didn't seem right. So this one is also for IMDb, so you'll
Okay.
probably like this one. Matrix Reloaded, May 2003. Freedom fighters Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus continue to lead the revolt against the Machine Army, unleashing their arsenal of extraordinary skills and weaponry against the systematic forces of repression and exploitation. So it doesn't give a lot away. Had a budget. The budget ballooned to 150 million. But
that's for both films.
Is that both films?
They filmed them back to back.
So you'd say about 75 million each.
Yeah.
Cool. So in total, that grossed 741 million, which, like I said previously, that was the highest grossing R-rated film of all time until Deadpool. So
That's crazy.
So it held it for 13 years as well, which is, like I said, for back in 2003, it's probably unheard of, really.
When you think about all the horror films that have come out since, like Saw and stuff like that, for it to still be the highest grossing R-rated, that's crazy.
It's probably because the Matrix, it gave the first Matrix film 4 years to breathe and people to try and wrap their head around it and understand it. That when they did, it did finally click, or people appreciated it for what it actually was after a couple of viewings. Then people are going, let's get the second one out.
I also think like the first one feels like one of the, I wouldn't say, but like it got added to the canon of important movies very quickly. Like, that was there are films that sort of take their time to be established as this is the film everyone should watch. Basically, from the moment The Matrix was out, it was, you should watch this. This is.
Did they always consider it to be a trilogy as well?
Well, this is the thing.
No idea.
I was just about to say this. I don't know much aside from like the more technical sides of it. I don't know much about the production of these two films. I wouldn't mind betting from what these two films have to say that Warner, and from especially considering what happens in the fourth film, which you guys don't know about, I wouldn't mind betting that Warner Brothers saw how much of an overnight success the first one was and went to Lily and Lana and were like, great, make us 2 more. And they were like, no. Yeah. We said all we needed to say, and that's the reason why it took 4 years. I think if they wanted to do a sequel,
because they had to,
there's nothing that would have stopped them probably going into production like the weekend after the first one came out.
Yeah,
I think Warner Brothers were probably knocking on their door, being like, "We need another Matrix film," and Lily and Lana were a bit like, "Well, we've said all we need to say," because the first one ends very definitively. You say he flies off, that's it, it's done, boom. He's going to rewrite the Matrix. He's going to free everybody, and then the second film basically comes along and blows everything in the first one into pieces and goes, "Haha, fuck you, you were wrong." And the architect does his real smug speech at the end. I think Lily and Lana were really reluctant to go back, and they were begging them because of how much money the first one made.
From this morning, I think this morning that architect scene took me a good few times to realise what the hell he was saying.
Yeah. And that's the point
so,
as well.
There was so much. I think it was probably this morning when I finished watching it this morning, I was a bit like, oh, it's finally clicked what the fuck he's saying. But it has taken me at least 5-6 viewings to finally understand what his purpose was, and the whole, like, obviously spoilers, but if you haven't seen it, probably again. But like the whole, this is like the 5th or 6th time Neo has been in his presence, and
your life is the sum of the remainder of an equation. He also looks like Colonel Sanders.
The white suit does not help. But like I can see where like they've literally had to come up with, if they weren't going to do an original trilogy, a very convoluted and it has to be a very precise story and plot line to get it right. Like, it can't just be anything simple, because the Matrix itself isn't a simple, the whole concept of it isn't simple. Oh, just quick before as well, when I was a kid and watched the first one, you know, when he's doing the talk and he's like, he's basically turning people into batteries so they can survive. Mm-hmm. When I was little, I was like, they turn them into actual batteries. And then you learn through school that we generate electricity and all that shit. Just a little, embarrassing moment for me. But anyway, back to number 2. That conversation with the architect is very, it is a lot to take in. Whether or not that is something that they've always had in their mind, like where they wanted to go.
I think it's the only, like I said to Harry before we got here, and like I just said now, that's the only real way that you can take that story. The same way that, and this is not me trying to shoe it in because they're my 2 favorites, but like if you look at The Terminator and T2, the first film is very much a closed loop. The screenplay is a grandfather paradox, and they very much leave it as a very closed door. And the second film kind of ruins it and stretches credulity. And if you actually analyse what's going on in that screenplay, it shouldn't really exist. But because it does it with such panache and style, and it's James Cameron, it's a really, really entertaining film, I give it a pass. Same thing here, in that like the only way you could actually carry on the story of The Matrix is to kind of shit on the first. They don't shit on it, but you see what I mean? Like it's a rebuttal.
Yeah.
It's a rebuttal.
Yeah.
My favourite scene would just probably be the whole sort of 40-minute sequence from when they enter the Merovingians tower to the end of the freeway chase.
Yeah. That's
that
incredible.
is just absolutely. Also, sorry, and I'll let you guys speak because this is all I have to say on it. The second film might be the horniest blockbuster ever made.
Absolutely. No, this is the horniest trilogy.
But so just quick, why is the second one the best one for you two?
So,
like, because it's out and right. You've always said it. You've never considered the third or first. You've just gone second one's the best one, and that's it.
So
this
is
fucking cool.
This is the thing. Is actually I was up until about probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was not the second one is the best film. I was one of the people. Like I remember telling Ollie at one point of like, you were saying you were rewatching them and you hadn't seen the second two in ages, and I was like, don't bother, because I was one of the people that had, again, had that narrative of, you watch the first one, it's great. You watch the second ones and they're not very good. I loved the second one when I was like 9 years old, and then I got to like 20 years old, and obviously the thing that I liked when I was 9 must be terrible. And then you watch the highway chase, and it's like, how no, this is the best thing. But no, it is. There is no point where this feels like the best version of directors not being told no.
Just doing what they want to do.
We're going to make our own. Does any of the council stuff work? No, but they wanted to make their own fucking Star Wars, so fuck you. Does it need as many action scenes as it has? No, probably not. But when the action sequences are these action sequences, go for it. There's so much. Hugo Weaving just leaning into it.
I like
You can see like in the the scene in the first one when it's like the stench of humanity. You can see that snippet, and then this entire film is just cranked that up as far as it goes.
You just reminded me of like the whole of Smith like getting into it, like that the like courtyard fight scene where there's obviously multiple and they're just piling on top of him. I like just that him fighting with the poles and like just doing the like roundabout kicking. The whole thing is incredible.
The bit when he throws one of them at the others and they do the fucking bowling pin
sound.
And then people are like, "This is a bad film. This is not as serious as the first one." It's like,
it's like they're saying like it has to be serious. You can't have fun with it. Have you seen the film? There's like fucking 100 different Smiths, and he's just whacking one of them like a baseball bat, just knocking them out.
It is. Oh.
Yeah, it is, baby. I don't know what my favourite scene would be in this one.
Again, it's hard. It's
so hard not to pick that whole 40-minute action sequence. I think I ever like just the bit where he stops the sword with his hand. Just like it's just so like it was just so cool.
Okay, you have some skill. when he stops the bullets, I just love it. It's so cool. It's so fun. As I should kind of elaborate, because maybe if people aren't as steeped in these films, they might not know what I was saying. Like the first film, as amazing as it is, it does have like a really antisocial, destructive streak in it. And I feel like this second film is Lily and Lana are a bit older, a bit more sort of, they've seen the reaction, and obviously in light of quite a lot of things happening in America since then, and the rise of like school shooters and stuff like that, and just a really nasty world that the place that the world was in the early 2000s. It's them sort of looking back at this film and going, hang on, A, maybe our perspective on things wasn't correct, and B, if you're walking around having this sort of like, yeah, fuck you, we're going to burn everything all down, fuck the machine, like attitude 24/7, that's maybe not as productive as we once thought, and like it's also not very healthy. And so this film is just kind of like, hang on, maybe we were wrong, and maybe that, and also like I just really enjoy so many characters in this film. The Merovingian is great.
Yes.
I think the freeway chase might be like the best car chase in a movie ever. Like people say the French Connection, and that's the one that like my dad says when he talks about car chasing. Like that is cool, and it's really like
it makes me nervous having the bit where Trinity and the Keymaker are on the bike, and they're literally heading onto traffic, and she just weaves in and out, in and out. But it must have been done at real speed, because it looks so like obviously you would think that with safety they might have slowed it down a little bit, but it just looks too good for it not to be as real as possible.
Because like the freeway was built specifically for that, right? Like
Yeah.
they built that entire stretch of road, and then I think that got broken down and made into like homeless.
I think they
houses
reuse
for
the materials.
in Canada, because again, the Wachowski's just the best.
I also think Monica Bellucci in that film, hands down, is the most attractive any woman has ever looked on film. No, seriously,
and she's like, everybody. Like, I'm surprised that she had for the role is a small. Even in Revolutions, she's in it for like 5 seconds. But I assume that's because they filmed it back to back. That she obviously did it all at once. But it's not a massive role. But yeah, she plays it short and sweet very well.
The twins are great.
What are they?
They're ghosts.
They're just ghosts.
Harry, do you want to explain it? Harry
Harry
was the one that told me about this.
And I think I've mostly only heard it from someone else. I've watched The Animatrix, but it's been a long time ago. But it's like the 5th iteration of The Matrix. Because you know how the architect is saying at some point, like, you know, we tried giving you perfection and you didn't accept it or whatever. One of the other iterations prior to then was like a horror iteration. Like, if you don't want everything perfect, we'll make everything as bad as possible. So that's the twins
they're redesigning.
When Monica Bellucci's like, oh yeah, you know, these guys are holdovers from the previous one, and then she shoots them with silver bullets
because they're harder to kill.
Yeah, they're vampires.
They're vampires because all of this is stuff from the Animatrix. Getting into the bits
Charlie's just shaking his head.
Yeah, so obviously the architect says to Neo in the end, he says, like, apropos, this is the 7th iteration and we've gotten quite good at it. The implication is that they've rebuilt the Matrix 7 times. One of those versions of the Matrix was this sort of like 18th century, like a Bram Stoker fucking nightmare where werewolves, ghosts, vampires, mummies, they all existed. And because the Merovingian and the Train Man keep programs from the previous versions that have been deleted.
Oh, okay.
The twins are ghosts.
Sick.
His bodyguards are vampires, and then I think in the Animatrix there's a werewolf. I haven't seen that.
So the other bit in terms of, again, like, you need to do your sort of extracurricular reading with this in terms of the bullshit with the Animatrix. My other favorite bit is the Enter the Matrix video game is considered canon. The bit when it's Ghost and the other character, the 2 playable characters in that anyway, because they swerve in at the end in like the muscle car. That chase, you see the other side of that chase in the video game, so you're literally just continuing that. That is designed to
So what? Right at the end of the highway chase, when Morpheus uses his fucking samurai sword to cut a car in half, basically.
And then so that is all of the stuff that in the Enter the Matrix video game is like happening in the office building beforehand, and then that game basically ends with, right, we need to go get Neo. You hop in a car, there's a car chase, and then that cuts directly to them swerving in at the end. And that they were so like, our weird fucking video game that Atari are producing, that's canon. That's an important part of the lore here. Like, and that's so ahead of its time. Like, it didn't really work. Do you think
that, especially with the MC, we shouldn't really bring it up, but obviously the MCU tried doing a thing where they were trying to mix their TV shows in with the films, right? Do you think they should have taken a leaf out of the Matrix books and just been like, it's not integral to watch it to be a part of it. It's just an extra bit.
That's the genius of it.
If
you haven't
played
ambitions. The game, you don't need. It doesn't matter. But if you have,
you get onto the Path of Matrix, the 3rd game, and that you want to talk about. Have you guys seen the ending of the Path of Neo? Sorry,
not yet.
No.
Okay, we need to watch that.
We'll watch that to do a deep dive.
That is. Sorry. This
super quick. There's 30 seconds. I tell a lie. My favorite bit in the Matrix Reloaded is in the car chase when the ghost gets in the car and he's fighting. Morpheus slaps him with the buckle of his seatbelt.
Oh yes, yeah.
In the face. He just slaps him with it in the face, and I love that. Sorry, Charlie.
No, that's all right. I was going to go like my favorite bits in the second one. Number 1, obviously the highway chase scene where Morpheus cuts a fucking car in half
and then shoots
sword.
it.
Number 2, the fact that you can turn 2 guys who were on a DIY program in the UK into into like arguably the coolest bad guys.
Explain that quickly.
They were just on like changing rooms or something. They were just 2 twins from like the UK who were plucked out of the sky and now became ghosts in the second Matrix film.
It's mad, isn't it?
And the 3rd one is the greatest cameo of all time, Roy Jones Jr. in the start of the Matrix, giving Morpheus shit.
I've never noticed that.
Have you not?
No.
Yeah, he's the guy in the beginning, the beginning part where they're kind of trying to organise stuff, and like Jada Pinkett Smith's there, and then he just starts.
Yeah, when he's late,
Morpheus
they're late.
shit.
Yeah.
I've not noticed that. I tell you what is a good cameo in the third one. Bruce Spence from The Road Warrior is the train man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Down here, I make the rules. He's fucking gnarly as fuck.
His teeth are his teeth are.
That's probably worth mentioning, like the grime that especially these early ones, like every time you see a fucking subway train, like the city is like never named, but it has so much character. Like the city is just dripping.
Yeah, it is never. No, there is no name for it, is there?
It's both managed to be perfectly faceless when he's in like the corporate side of it, and like any city in the world, and then there's like the underbelly to it. It's just so perfect. Like it feels like it just sprawls on forever. Like it's so well done.
What's your favourite scene in the second one, Dan?
It's difficult. I really do. I think that if I were to take out the because obviously everyone says the highway scene and stuff like that. I do think it is probably the courtyard fight with all of them.
I love that.
Really love. I just love the choreography for it, and the way he uses the environment. It's not just fun, like when he pulls out the pole and all, like just everything about it's brilliant. I think just a little bit that I really liked is when Trinity when he's like his vision that he's happening right at the end is obviously coming true, and Trinity gets shot, and he's just fucking hell for leather and flying, and he's like, I've never seen anything that fast. The fucking way he's going so fast, it's like a tornado of cars just behind him. I was like, that's so cool to show how fast he is going. That he is just speed is just picking everything up behind him, and then as he picks up and sweeps away, you just in the background you just see like fucking 200 odd cars are just continuously like that whole the way they showed that. I thought that's just as a little thing, as like a personal little. I thought it was great, and the bit when he restarts her heart gets me every time as well.
I love that he's just flying around at the start. Yeah. Whereas more if he's doing the Superman thing. Like, I would if I could fly. I'd just fly around in my casuals. Just
that's it. Actually, the other bit that
no one in the Matrix dresses casual. I'm sorry,
but that's like his version of casual. It's like his leather trench coat.
Like Neo's pajamas would be made out of leather. Let's be honest here.
Does anyone know why Tank isn't in the second one?
I do.
Have you seen the documentary?
I'll let you. Yeah.
So the actor was in a dispute over pay, and didn't come back for the second one. However, since then he has made a YouTube documentary which kind of just shits on sort of everyone making the decisions.
What specifically about Matrix?
About his kind of the fact that he's not in the second one.
Yeah. He's made a documentary on being. Is it a
so
documentary
he's
about
taking
him being
the L well then,
because he's not mentioned in the second one.
He's mentioned once, but not even by name. Just like, I've lost two brothers.
And she doesn't say his name. It's all.
She just says
Dozer.
Dozer. It's all Dozer. Yeah, not Tank. That's mad. That's mad actually. Yeah, he doesn't.
I tried to watch the YouTube video, the documentary.
Yeah, couldn't get through.
It was 5 minutes of just him talking over really sad music.
I must say, when I first stuck the Reload, I remember when I first watched Reloaded, when I started watching, the chills I got from when you don't know, well, you know it's Smith by his voice, but he knocks at the door and just like, I've got something for Neo telling me he set me free, and I was just like, shit is gonna go fucking down. Like that's how you reintroduce a character that you think is dead. Yeah, you don't even show his face; it's just his voice and his figure, and then he just walks off, and you don't see him for like another 30 minutes. Yeah. Like it's great.
There is a musical sting that is introduced in this second film that carries over into the third one for Smith, and I love it so much, and it makes me laugh. It's really stupid. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. I'll play it. I don't know if I'll be able to if you can hold it up on the mic. Yeah, I'll play it. Bear with me. It's every time he appears on screen, this little sting plays. It's literally a 3-second. I don't know if it'll play. Sorry, that's very anticlimactic. Bear with me. Because I had it on mute.
Yeah.
It just gets me every time. It's so stupid. And when he shows up in the third film to kill the Oracle.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
walked in.
that scene is.
And he slams the cookies against the wall. Oh, it's great.
I like John. Well, should we move on to the third one now?
Yes.
I must say, he is so good in this
He's the
one.
best part about it.
Yeah.
He's no one has ever understood. Again, I say these films are very misunderstood. The one person more than anyone else that absolutely knew what they were going for with these sequels is Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. It's fucking perfect.
He based it on a news anchor. He's based the voice and the pacing of the voice on a news anchor, like a US news anchor.
That makes sense. Okay.
I can't remember the guy's name, but it was he did the moon landing, so it was like that kind of stuff.
Just like
'Cause he was
weirdly
like a
monotone
trusted-
and
Because it was like a trusted voice.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is purpose that defines, purpose that drives us, that binds us.
It is so over the top, but it still has that menace. It is so with you getting more into professional wrestling, Charlie, it is that level of the dude knows what a heel is, and it's so good.
100%.
When he kills the Oracle, he's like,
Oh, it just that whole Oracle scene though is the way he's just overthinking about the Oracle being able to see when he like you say he smashes the cookies. He's like, maybe you knew I was going to smash the cookies, so that means you made the cookies on purpose. And he's just like going, well, what the fuck do you know? Like, how far is this going to go?
maybe you didn't. You set those cookies there purposefully, deliberately. He's outright. He puts his face through the ringer as well. Like his
every bit of him contort to get around everywhere. Like there is chewing on the scenery, and then there's what Hugo Weaving is doing in this. And again, would not change a beat.
Even his last line of the film. No, it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's so hammy and stupid, but I love it. It's not stupid because again, he knows what he's doing. And again, he's a computer virus, isn't he?
But I love the fact though that as like obviously he is a computer virus, but he's still at a point where the computer virus has evolved to a point where he is getting emotional, where he's getting angry, and he's like, why you keep fighting kind of thing, and then he's like, oh, why do I have to lose kind of thing? Yeah. Like
why do you persist?
And it's like the realization is that's like the one point where he calls him Neo instead of Mr. Anderson, and then it like clicks. I'm like, I'm fucked. Yeah. So good.
Go on then. What's your favourite part of 3?
I actually don't like 3 that much.
Okay.
So I rewatched it today, and I rang my friend rang me as I was watching it, and because I watched the second one yesterday, watched the third one today, and he said to me, "Oh, do you not want me to call you back when you finish it?" And I was like, "Well, no, because I said this to Harry before. The whole stuff with the mech suit battle in Zion just bores the shit out of me. I get what it's going for. Maybe it's too overambitious. I don't like the design of the Sentinel robots to begin with. I don't think they're particularly menacing. They work for what they are.
The Opta.
In the first ones, they're scary. They serve their purpose. But like as a vehicle to do a 40-minute action scene with, I don't think they work that well. And I spend the whole time just watching it thinking, come on, get to Trinity and Neo. I don't find any of the characters compelling. That one guy that shouts, knuckle up, like 7 times in the space of 20 minutes is boring. I don't think it works. I
can see where you're coming from. I disagree a little bit. I really like the fact that in the third, like each one is different from the previous one. I like the fact that the third one, it's kind of like a weird 2-parter.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, because it was always going to get to that point. Like you can't do a Matrix trilogy film without seeing the robot city, or you can't do a trilogy without actually seeing other humans that have been pulled out of the Matrix and surviving. So I really like the fact that we were able to see humans. It's not just constantly super powered people fighting and stuff like that. It is just humans. I know they've got I know they got the mecha suits and all stuff like that. But it was just nice to see a bit more jeopardy that people are actually gonna get fucking massacred here.
It makes sense. I really like it. I like the way you framed it there. I like it. I just don't. I think it goes on for too long.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too long.
If
it was 10 minutes shorter, it'd be good. There's some really indelible imagery in it as well. There's a really cool shot where the kid, who's like 16, gets into the mech towards the end of the battle, and he's like walking to open the gate, and they're all swarming around him. That's fucking cool. It just goes on for too long. I'd say probably my favorite stuff in this film is the Bane character.
Yeah.
The fight between him and Neo in the real world.
Yes.
When Neo gets blinded.
It's brutal.
That's arguably the most brutal fight in the series, and it's really tense, and like that's just a really cool concept. Yeah. The idea of a machine going into the human world, and how does he feel about it, and what does that mean for his body, and can he feel pain, or all these sorts of stuff. I've seen it so many times, and I was watching it again today, thinking like, "Fuck, what does it actually mean? Like, what would have happened if Bane had won that fight? What would he have done? Would he have tried to take over the human world? Would he?
He's got both worlds. He would have had both,
exactly.
Wouldn't he? Yeah.
So I'd probably say that I really, really like the stuff in the train station at the start with the little girl, Sati. That's a really cool concept. And again, I said this to my friend on the phone when he rang me. Those two bits, the sequence in the train station and then the sequence with Bane on the ship, I'd love to see more of and less of the mech suit shit. Yeah. So if they could have shortened the mech suit and actually spent more time with that family trying to get into the Matrix, I'd enjoy it way more.
Yeah.
Favorite scene, I'd probably have to go with the big punch up at the end.
Yeah.
Just his monologue.
So
Why do you persist? It's great.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, don't ever apologise. Don't. I like the bit in the whole mech thing. Like just little bits like when the Sentinels are like all like converged to one to like just take out the center console.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's like, because especially the sound and everything. Like, I would love to see if they ever do a re-release in the cinema. I will be going to it just to see that on a grand scale.
This is definitely that sequence is definitely where the budget went. Like a lot of people criticize. Obviously the second one for like Neo looking kind of like he's made out of plasticine during the middle of the burly brawl. Like I get it. But it's because the robots and shit in this look fucking incredible. Like, still,
the
look
CGI
really
for
nice.
this for 2003 is really good.
It's got that same as like Starship Troopers. It's got that like everything has that detail to it in the way that like shouldn't really have for the
Starship Troopers.
In terms of
what a film!
I get what you're saying.
Like in terms of the special effects, still holding up really well.
Yeah.
Weirdly, there are loads of sci-fi films from the 2000s that have copied that. Like if you think about the Michael Bay Transformers, over detailed as fuck.
But I would still say it's quite readable in Revolutions as opposed to Transformers, where it got to a stage where they're just like, here are a load of colours shuffling into each other.
Yeah.
It did the moment we started mentioning the mech suit, that might also a great scene from the second one. I know I'm talking about the second one again, but the first time you see a mech suit, it turns to the camera, like points the gun at the cameras, reloads, and then just turns around.
Spins, does he spin a gun as
there
well?
Is no, like, the camera shouldn't even be there. Like, but it's just like, we've got a fucking mech suit in our movie. We're going to show you how cool our mech suit is. Like, fuck yes.
I'm going to go once. Sorry, I'll let.
No.
I'm jumping off from what you said about
the
the effects looking bad, right? In the second one, I am that much of an apologist for that film that I would say I'd take the mental leap and say this is a computer trying to keep up with two programs that aren't supposed to be there, having a massive punch up with loads of duplicates. Of course, it's going to look bad because it's a robot facsimile of what reality is supposed to be.
Making that argument, no one has ever listened to me before. I don't blame you, but I think that would be cool as hell if that is the
Of course, it looks like a PS2 graphic. And they're both fucking computer viruses having a fight. Like,
and again, the thing I will keep coming back to, for what happens in that sequence, if you come at me like, well, it doesn't look very good, you fucking nerd. Like, I don't care. like that is what we're like. I'm sorry. You've got Keanu Reeves fighting 1,000 fucking Hugo Weavings, and you're like, yeah, well, the sunglasses don't really fit on his face properly. Like, who gives a fuck?
I love the fact that the way they show that basically the Matrix has been taken over now by all Smiths, where they're just all like lined up in the windows, just watching in like in
so
literally
good.
every single window of the tower blocks, and you're like,
the rest of me is just going to enjoy the show.
What about you,
Charlie?
Charlie?
With the place,
I like the little side quest that Link's wife goes on.
Oh, the rocket launchers and
the
stuff.
rocket launcher part where they successfully down one.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hold my belt. And I was like, when watching it this morning, I was like, because I fucking forgot everything about it. I was like, yeah, they're going to fucking do that. They're going to fucking blow it up.
Yeah.
And then it just clips the Sentinels and
And then you get chased.
one of them and the fight at the end.
Yeah. I think the fight is if there's a way to end a trilogy, it's you do that fight. Like that fight in the middle of the film wouldn't have had the impact that it does That's why I think it kind of works for me that the film's kind of in two parts.
Yeah.
Because then you do have like great action again, like you say, it might go on for a bit too long, but you got a great action sequence with a shit ton of CGI in a time where you're like, this is fucking brilliant. And then, oh my God, I've still got a fucking Neo fight to come with this as well.
And an honourable mention to when they Trinity sees the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Like really, like it all goes quiet, like a really pretty moment.
And she just says beautiful, doesn't she?
Yeah.
That is
just they quickly,
and it's just straight back
because
straight back down.
Because you don't really see, when they're in the Matrix, you don't really see any like kind of beautiful scenery or sun or anything like that. You never see a sun. It's just daylight, but you never see a sun.
Another thing about what that city is, of just like, it's almost, especially once Agent Smith has completely taken over, it's just fucking rain. And like
it's also
constant.
The hue washes it out as well, doesn't it? The green.
Yes,
it is. So, it's like
just washes it.
It is joyless when they are. Anytime you see that city is like deprived of that, and it's,
I really like that one. I really like the sun, capturing the sun for the first time. Imagine watching a film for 3 hours and not seeing the sun. Like, you don't really think about it, do you?
Yeah.
But then when it happens, it is a beautiful moment.
Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? The third film kind of reminds me of Return of the Jedi. In that, when I was a kid and I would watch Return of the Jedi, I would, especially when you get into the last hour of that film, the battle on Endor, I was like, fuck this is stupid. I just want to get to the bit with Luke and Vader.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same way. When I watch Revolutions, I'm like, I don't really care about the punch up in Zion, like the mech suits shooting at the squids. I just want to see Neo and Trinity and Smith. And I feel the same sort of way. Like, as you like, if it was just, it's really technically impressive, and the mech suits look really good, and like, again, like you compare that to something like Avatar that has massive mech suits. I think the ones in the Matrix trilogy look better, and they came out nearly 10 years before.
I just think the design looks more like, I was thinking even the design of, when they are going over the robot city. And they're making their way, and then you've got those fucking like these gigantic cannons that all just start on, like, even the design of them is like, there's so much detail in it that someone's really gone into, well, how would it look if it was designed by a machine and they want to be the most, like, the most advanced version of a bit of weaponry it can be. And you've got literally, what is it, like a mountain range of these fucking giant cannon things just launching shit at them. That whole, like, the design of the machines itself is really good as well. Like, I think it kind of gets taken away a little bit because you don't see it as much.
As I say, I don't really like the design of the squids. I don't think they're that intimidating. Like, in isolation on their own, I don't think they're that scary. But I do, when you get to the machine city and it's just this horrendous nightmare, and the final, even though I don't like the fact that it takes the form of a baby face, like
it is a baby face, isn't
it? The design of the machine, Deus Ex Machina, whatever they call it, is really freaky, and it's like this giant porcupine thing.
Loads of little bits plugged in, like it's like not one unit, it's like tons of,
and when like loads of little robots will make
with
one,
like wires coming out behind them or whatever.
When they basically strike that bargain, and Neo is like going to get plugged in, and they sort of like snake out of the ground to lift him up, I get squeamish. I'm like, it's nasty. I just don't like the fact that it turns to a baby face.
Anything else?
I mean, of course. No, I think that I do, again, big apologist for these films. I do think this film is very flawed. I think, again, if you are coming to this wanting, I really want to see the action, I really want to see how this concludes, you are purposefully going to be disappointed. But I think you take it out of context, it is a better film. Like, every time, or the time that I have gone back to it, it's like, this is a lot better than I remember it, if you take it exactly as what it wants to be, of, a film about Neo having a sacrifice, a film about it not actually be, and I think so much of it, again, I want to say it when we were talking about Reloaded, I had a friend be like, oh, it's so cheesy when he does like the reaching into the heart, or like the being able to just stop the robots in the real world just literally by the power of love or whatever. But it works because they believe it, and there is so much sincerity to these films. And again, the they can bargain peace essentially is not being done in a way of like a random pull, but like, the way that people complained about like the end of Game of Thrones and the mentions of democracy and that, and like everyone was like, that's corny and terrible because it was thrown out as a joke. This is very like, hey, no, we can build something better here. Like, and again, the sense of community is, again, for one of the biggest blockbuster franchises of all time, this probably has one of the strongest like individual sort of like take on it, like individual like character or writing, like it feels so personal to the people that made it. And again, if you take it as the story that those two wanted to tell, I think it's works a lot better than you think.
A cool little detail that I love, building on what you just said, when the architect meets the oracle at the end, and she says, "Do I have your word?" And he says, "What am I? What do you take me for? Human?"
Yeah.
I love that. Another little detail that I really like, just a weird little, I don't know if this would be like part of the production design or whatever, but stylistic choice when Neo has been blinded and he can see, I'm using quotation marks, and it's all flames and fire, and he looks, I think that's really cool. Really I really like that. There's loads of really iconic Australian character actors in the second and third one, and I only found out today when I was reading up on it that it was shot in Australia on the Fox, on the Warner Brothers soundstage in Australia.
Oh wow!
That's why Bane is an Australian.
Yep.
The woman that he kills, who is sort of monitoring him and Neo when they're in a coma, is Australian. The captain of the ship that they commandeer is Australian. Loads of the extras in Zion are Australian. And the woman who Bane kills with the scalpel is the lead in The Babadook.
Oh.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
So there's loads. If you
wow, I did
great.
not.
There's loads of like Australian characters, and then obviously
brilliant.
the biggest one is Bruce Spence as the train man. He's like arguably one of Australia's most famous.
I'm actually a little bit blown away by that.
Yeah.
Babadook Mum is. I can't see it. Actually,
But yeah, his Bruce Spence's teeth are gnarly as fuck.
Yeah,
he's gross.
Yeah.
He is, and I like the bit when they go into Club Hell and they're having like the standoff with where Trinity's got the gun at his head. It just cuts to him and he's just like smiling.
Yeah,
like he hasn't even got his. He's just like sort of like licking his teeth and
that
shit.
bit freaks me out. Actually, the bit that freaks me out is. When they first enter and it's the gun bit where like you got to hand your guns in and they just like start walking on the ceiling. Yeah, just freaks me out a little bit.
Cool.
It is cool. Yeah,
such a cool action scene.
I do wish it kind of went somewhere. I will say that first bit, going back to it, like it feels like they kind of walk in, they do the standoff, and then the Merovingians kind of like, yeah, sure, you can back.
I kind of love
it. I would be about the guns, man.
Because in any other sort of like lesser film or game, because it sort of just sets up this really tedious. He's like, I want the eyes of the Oracle, and then you're expecting them to go on some quest where they negotiate, but she just pulls out a gun. She's like, I don't have time for this. She's like, fuck it. You either give me Neo or I shoot you in the head. And he's just like, oh okay.
I like the fact that because how do you pronounce his name? The Merovingian. Merovingian, right? So I'm assuming he's actually a French actor.
I don't know. Or Canadian.
I remember watching this with someone or watching the second one at least with someone who is a linguist, and they were just amazed at like he is swearing so perfectly in other languages.
He must be. Let me Google it.
Because I love the fact that we're going back to the second one. He goes through saying like, "Oh, I've learned all these languages, but French is my favorite," and it just made me laugh that they just
like
put that
wiping your ass
it just made me laugh that the fact that they put that whole line in just because he was French and he wanted to say that I like being French just made me giggle.
I will find out for you. Give me 2 seconds. Fill the air.
I think if I was to pick have I picked a favourite from the third bit?
No, he is French, by the way.
He is French, yeah. I just love the fact that, I mean, it is the way he talks is very, I could listen to him read me the most boring book and I'd love it. Like, he has that type of voice, just the way he can talk.
We haven't even spoken about, and Harry brought this up in the car. Sorry, Harry, go on. And then, sorry, Dan, we interrupted you.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I really like it. Oh, one of the bits of violence in it that caught me off guard a little bit is back at the mech robot fights with I can't remember the name of the captain, the one that basically gets killed, but he just gets his face sliced up. And those cuts all over his body and his face were like deep, gnarly. They are horrible. When I first watched that took me back because I was like, that's. Because obviously the fight scenes are all like punching and stuff like that, but there's not really a lot of actual like blood violence or gore.
Viscera, yeah.
But that took me. I was a little bit like, oh, okay, that's
goes
graphic.
Over his forehead and then through his cheek,
nose. But then when on the side thing, you see he's actually got his whole body as well. Like his whole body's all like. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah, that took me back. Right, Harry, go on.
So the side, going back to Reloaded, because we didn't talk about the bit when they meet the Merovingian. But as I said, I watched this film first, like 8 or 9 years old, and just being like, he's poisoned the cake.
Oh, I thought that as well.
Oh no, he's killed her. There's some sort of explode. He's put a bomb. He's coded a bomb inside the cake. And then watching that, like 16 years old, I'm like, oh no, that's not what the film's trying at all. And I really want to know. I really want to know. After this film, was there some bakery out there that was just like, we should call ourselves the Merovingians?
It's the way that she gets up afterwards, like pats her lips and like daintily walks off, and it's like you've just. Oh my god!
It's so.
I thought it was a. I thought when I was a kid, I thought it was like a stomach bug because it obviously it goes in between her legs, and it most obviously the main point is.
Yeah.
And I always just thought it was her stomach, like she had like it was like a laxative. I thought it was like she was gonna shit herself. That's what I thought it was when she was a kid.
That's why I said when we were doing our preamble on The Matrix Reloaded, I was like, "This is the horniest movie ever made."
Yeah.
Again, and then you see it in the third one when they go into the club. It's like anyone. Yeah. You should not be criticizing the Wachowskis or anyone for the way they live their lives. But holy shit, the Wachowskis have been telling you since day fucking one, mate. They have been more true to themselves than anyone else.
I don't know who it was, whether it was Lily or Lana, but wasn't one of them married to a bondage artist at some point?
No one has ever been living their life like truer to who they want to be than those two.
But I think that neatly wraps up our talk on the first three films. Dan,
I just want to quickly, one of the things that I really like about the trilogy as a whole. Well, first off, my MVP for me is in this whole trilogy is Morpheus, because the amount of determination that guy goes through to try and find the one, and he just constantly pushing it, and he always believes, he's always a believer, even when people doubted him, he kept believing and said, you got to trust me and all this stuff. For me, he's MVP, and I just fucking love Lawrence Fishburne anyway. He's the man. One of the things that I really liked about this trilogy, which I don't think really gets talked about enough, like some people it might not bother them bit that much, but when I tried getting mention Ashley again, my wife. I tried getting her to my wife.
Glad you did it.
I tried getting her to watch this trilogy. We watched it a couple of years ago, but I was trying to get her for years to watch because she wasn't really bothered. She's not a massive sci-fi fan or like a martial arts fan or anything like that. And then I just tried passing it off as it's a love story.
Well, you're not right.
That's what I mean. So I said to her, it's basically, it's like this trilogy is a love story as much as it is sci-fi, and the connection that Neo and Trinity have through what is either fate or it's planned from whatever it is. It seems so sincere and genuine, and it's such a lovely aspect of a film that is action packed. It's sci-fi. It's dark. It's everything, but at the center of it. And even I think Agent Smith says it at one point. He's like, you humans, and he says something so silly about love. Or like he mentions like, but at the heart of this, even like you can tell Morpheus has love for Neo, like as a brother and all that. Like there's so much love within this film, but the whole Trinity and Neo love entanglement throughout the whole trilogy, from the beginning when she first meets him to when she's dying at the end, is that whole story, that whole arc is for me. Is just a beautiful thing that runs throughout it,
and they sell it really well. They have great chemistry. Yeah. I wanted to see more. That's why I wanted to see more of the Asian family in the train station, because like the concept of a program getting the ability to have love is really interesting. But I completely agree with you. The fourth film really leans into that, which you'll find out in a minute. Okay, cool. Like I completely agree. It's great.
Other thing, just before we move on, I always thought from the first one. So when we see the fields of humans all in. And then Neo gets unplugged, and then he goes down the chute. Yep. I was always thinking, so when he's going down that chute, I was like, "Fuck, those plugs in his back, that must be fucking hurt." Like just having that scraping. I was every time I watch, I'm like,
all of that though is a really good. Again, when I said like the first time I saw clips of this, I thought it was a horror movie. Like every shot of like the needles going into yourself, like it's very like bodily. And
apparently he filmed that 3 months after wrapping on the first.
Oh really?
Because he had to lose a ton of weight for it.
Oh okay. I suppose he had to shave his head.
Yeah.
I briefly thought you were talking about Keanu Reeves' unknown rap career and got very intrigued.
Him and Mark Wahlberg did a... Sorry.
Man, this film's like even just little bits like that. Not get me choked up, but just like get me a little bit. Is like when he's being examined when they first pick him up out of the thing. And he's like, "Why do my eyes hurt?" He's like, "Because you've never used them before." I'm just like thinking, "Fuck, that's just so like to think someone of that age." It's never used their eyes before because they've just been plugged in and just suspended in some pink goo. Just heartbreaking. And then you've got billions and billions of... It's just... There's
And
so
what's
many good aspects
interesting-
of this trilogy.
What's really interesting is when you get into the discussion of like, well, there are millions, if not billions, of people out there that would rather stay in the Matrix
Yeah.
compared to. We've spoken so much about the sequels, particularly me and Harry, about how much we love them, but like we glossed over just how amazingly like the first film is like nearly it's a perfect film.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a
yeah, I
perfect film.
completely agree.
I love Joe in that film. I don't remember you bringing me breakfast. He's so petty. I'm saying Joe as if we're on first name basis. It's only because I love The
That's why I got
Sopranos so much.
confused.
But like,
I was like, the fuck's Joe?
he's just so great in that. I don't remember you bringing me breakfast.
Even about that character, his name's an anagram for Ode.
How can he be the one if he's dead?
Oh, we didn't even like mention like is it Mouse? The guy that designed the little red, and he's trying to pimp out his red dress woman.
yeah.
Just like little bits like that. Like,
and then you were saying
they're
that,
still human, even though they probably haven't been human for like over a century or however long it is. They're still at heart will always be human.
mentioned the prequel. She turns up in like the arena fight in the second one, doesn't she?
Yeah,
She's like the quick shot of her or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
What was I gonna say? Like we could spend hours talking about just how much like this. I have a family friend. When I was about 7 years old, he was probably the first person who ever told me what the Matrix was. And he was like 17, 18 when I was like a 7, 8 year old. And he was studying film, and he sort of really introduced me to a lot of stuff that I enjoy now. And I remember hanging out with him once, and he was like, oh, if I had a time machine, the only thing I would do is go back to like the 1400s and show some peasant in a hut somewhere this movie and see and like watch their like entire like brain just melt inside their head. But like the amount that this film, like you talking about the implications of just the sequence where Mouse is talking about like, how do you know what chicken tastes like? Maybe it tastes like tasty wheat or vice versa. Like all of the things that this film taps into. Like all of
that sentence sounds so simple, but it's such a strong.
The implications of it, you could write, and I'm sure people have. As I said, I made the joke about the Nebuchadnezzar, obviously the literary connotations of that. But you could basically write a thesis about pretty much every line in that first film. Yeah. There is so many insane things going on,
and I'm sure at some point when we do an episode per film, we will end up getting a lot more into it.
The Matrix Reloaded will be 8 hours long.
We're going to get halfway through and be like, guys, do you want to watch the Matrix?
Let's do a commentary.
So we said at the beginning of this, me and Charlie have not seen. Are we finished? But just quick, we finished the trilogy talk? Yeah. Are we happy? Is there any other honourable mentions we want to get out of the way? Oh, honourable mention for me. Me and my sister used to. I think it was my younger sister used to play act this fight scene bit just because it made me laugh so much. When he goes to punch in the first one, he goes to punch Swift and then opens up his hand and just I fucking love that.
Just an edit of that,
Which is every single punch is just that.
That was a little honourable mention for me. Anything else? Everybody done?
I do find the kid in the first one really annoying. The one that goes, "Don't try to bend the spoon."
Yeah, a lot.
I only think that there's not really a spoon. Whatever the fuck he says.
Don't try and bend the spoon. That's impossible.
Definitely the bit age 8-year-old of just like, we can move this along a bit, please.
There is no spoon.
There is no spoon. Looks like the kid from that kid looks like the kid from X-Men 3. The one that's completely bald.
Oh,
when
the one that can take powers away by touching them.
When Frasier goes into the room and he puts his hand near him and he goes normal.
Going normal.
Yeah. Sorry. It's a deep cut for all the X-Men 3 fans out there.
Anything else? Is everybody
again? We
happy?
We could go for days. Let's not. Let's.
Right. So me and Charlie have not seen Resurrections. We're gonna try and I thought it'd be quite funny to see if we can try and guess like how Neo came about, what the story's gonna be. But you two cannot give any emotional reaction whatsoever.
I was gonna say I'm glad we're doing this first. So
you can't. Ollie's just going because he knows he's gonna talk.
I haven't really thought much about it because I want to be surprised.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would be crazy to not think it has something to do with the little girl. And
Harry, do not make a move.
Okay, and maybe it can't be. You can't resurrect that version of Neo.
See,
So maybe there is some sort of technology has moved on into the fact that they can,
I don't know if I want to say what I think now and
create a new or create a different version.
See, I don't want to say what I think what I'm going to say, because I want,
So
if you're going to be like you just want to be surprised, I don't want to say what I'm going to say.
No,
Can I
say it. It's
ask you a
fine.
quick question first? Did either of you guys watch the trailers, at least when this was first?
I watched the
coming out?
trailer, but I don't
So-
have a. But
Okay,
I can't.
so you
I can't
haven't-
remember anything.
okay,
I can't
okay,
remember the
right.
trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Okay. fair enough.
So, I think I got more of an inkling about what's going to happen upon rewatching these three. If I didn't rewatch them, we just did the chat, I probably wouldn't have a clue. But I kind of have a feeling that Neo is a program who just gets inserted into any human. So he is part of the Matrix always. I think he's a constant in the Matrix always. That's what I think. So I think that, because obviously his body gets carted off, but obviously, like, especially when they have the scene with the architect, and this is like the 6th time you come here, and that it's just loads of different Neos in the screens. I still think that's just because Neo wouldn't recognize somebody that doesn't look like him. Why it's still Keanu Reeves, I don't know. That bit obviously wouldn't make sense to what I'm saying, but I think Neo is a program that is a constant part of the Matrix, is what I'm going for.
I think he's like Neo 2.0.
Okay.
I think that is the same, but
His name would
not
be
quite
what?
the same.
W-O-T.
I do like the fact, actually, when you said about the little girl, because
I
at the
think
end
that
of,
she must be like the main, like
think
the
she's-
main shit now.
because she says at the end of the third one, like, she's like, "Oh, look at that sunrise, or whatever it is."
Yeah.
And the Oracle's like, "Did you do that?"
Exactly.
And she did it for Neo.
Exactly.
So is it her that? Oh, okay. Oh,
So
again,
I
this is
think
getting
that,
interesting.
yeah, she, I don't know, she has a pod or something, and
yeah.
It has a
and
podcast.
and
a special
then
guest,
plugs-
actually.
and then just
Because
plugs them back in.
she's made in the Matrix as well, isn't she?
Yeah. Yes, and then he's like taken out to be hidden. Right?
Yes. Yeah. She's I can't remember what they call it. I can't remember what they call her. An exile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Something along
Right,
those
anyway,
lines.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So we've had
I'm
a bit of a
so-
chat.
I'm
Yeah.
so excited that you two are excited.
Yeah,
Good.
I
I'm buzzing. Honestly, after
And I am-
this morning's viewings, after I watched the third one, I was like, I'm so ready. I'm ready now.
I watched like all three in like a day and a half. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Right.
Let's call it there.
Let's call it there. Ollie, do you want to say goodbye for now?
Nah, he's done, mate.
He's gone.
Hey, it's
Right. Cool. So hopefully you come back, because we're about to go watch Matrix Resurrections.
yeah.
If you would like to
As-
watch
as-
along at home, I recommend
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Of course you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
So
go watch it. If you
yeah,
haven't watched
well,
it,
if you haven't watched it, go watch
wait,
it now.
Go watch it and then see if we were right.
Yeah. So
Probably not.
yeah, we're probably well off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been currently an hour and a half of, I feel like, nice chat. It's been fucking quick. But yeah, so hopefully you'll come back and hear us talking about Resurrection. So well,
see you soon.
see you in a bit.
See about 2 hours and 40, I believe.
Yeah. Right. Bye. So we're back. We've just
Welcome
finished
back.
watching. Welcome back. We've just finished watching Matrix Resurrections, and yeah, I don't know where to begin.
Well,
I feel like could you ask us a question?
it's welcome back for us
Yeah.
for the beauty of these listeners at home. They're going to have
they've-
seamlessly just gone from
yes.
the last thing we said
Yeah.
to this.
To this.
So yeah, we just watched The Matrix Resurrections, and if we didn't make it clear enough when we started the episode, Harry and I have seen it before. Dan and Charlie have not. Which at the time of this recording, the film is 4 years old.
Yeah.
It'll be 5 years old.
It's coming up 4 years.
coming up 4 years this Christmas. So it's been out a while, and Dan and Charlie were saying they're quite impressed that they managed to avoid it for this long.
And we had no idea about anything that was going on. Like, we had no spoilers, didn't really know anything about the story, or just, what you saw from the trailer.
Yeah, and it was just Lana returning this time, so Lily wasn't involved, which I will talk about in a bit more detail later on. But I don't know how we start this off, boys. Do we?
A confounding movie.
Okay, here's a way. Why don't? Because it was the architect of this idea was really Harry. Because
Hey, I see what
Harry
you did there. Oh no.
Very good.
Harry really loves this film. Harry loved it when it came out, and every time I've spoken to him about it, he has sung its praises. He's probably the biggest fan of it that I know.
To a certain extent. Again, I don't remember if we mentioned it in the first part, but the original plan. Again, I think we said before how long this idea has been in development. The original plan was, we're going to bang out like 10 episodes, then that'll bring us up to The Matrix coming out. We'll go to the cinema, watch that. And that didn't happen, obviously, so various members saw it individually.
I just wanted to, as Harry loves this film, Harry, why don't you start by telling us your thoughts on it, and then maybe we can go into Dan and Charlie telling us theirs.
So the thing that I've been holding off on saying, and I remember you guys, again, I've been very excited to do this episode until about last night when it finally hit me of, oh God, what if they don't like it? Which I have known all along, very real possibility. And I think the worst thing you could probably do prior to watching The Matrix Resurrections is watch the other 3 Matrix movies and go, I know what I really want answered. I know the questions that I am bringing to this film. Because it doesn't give a shit. And I love that about this. I said before about I really enjoyed the sincerities of these movies, and this is a very sincere film. I really enjoy the amount of character that Lana has put into it and how much of a passion project this is. No one else could have written this movie. You can argue no one else should have written this movie. But in a time when we are doing, a studio exec, and we will be talking a lot about Warner Brothers because, oh boy, the first 20 minutes of this movie and its relationship to Warner Brothers, especially with stuff that we were saying earlier of, I reckon they were really pushing for a sequel in the first time. And it seems like someone maybe had a bit of venting to do when they were writing this film. The idea of what this movie could be, and I believe I was talking to Ollie about this on the way over here, I believe they are rebooting it, and I think that has already been confirmed, and there's talk of it being written and stuff. What I think the version that will be written for the fans, or whatever you say, or the version that is the neat and tidy option, will be a better film than this, will be a more competent film than this, will make way more sense than this. But I love that this exists. And I love how, again, the reason why I really wanted to do the idea of you guys do your scenes of what are you expecting? Because I know no matter what the fuck you come up with, you're wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
I think, so if I'm going through it in my head, I completely agree with what Harry said about, I was watching this, and about halfway through, I went, I would have enjoyed this movie more if I hadn't watched the first 3 in the past 24 hours.
I agree.
I think because I've watched the first 3, I'm not saying that I watched the first 3, which automatically made me think that the first 3 are better. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm thinking is I've watched the first 3, and then I've gone to watch this movie, which has so many, possibly too many flashbacks to sections of the film. So I'm going, it's another flashback. There's another. It's not even really a flashback. It literally looks like a section of the film.
In time, there are snippets directly taken from it. There are scenes that are remixed. There are.
So I'm watching that. I'm thinking, okay, that's probably one reason why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I really didn't like the whole. I didn't mind the whole. He's a game designer. He designed the Matrix. But when it started talking about Warner Brothers and that, I was like. I was like, I didn't really think that was necessarily needed.
I get the impression, looking from both of your faces and from getting glimpses of you watching it, that you both really hated it.
I didn't really hate it.
I'll be completely honest with you. Upon watching it the first time, I didn't love it. When I watched it in cinemas, I didn't love it, and I still don't love it. It's not exactly like Harry says.
An extremely flawed film. As the biggest apologist for it, this film has issues.
It's not what I was expecting. No. And if you put a gun to my head, I say put a gun to my head. If somebody came to me and said like, "Oh, you could make
very strange terrorist," just like rank the Matrixes.
if someone came to me and said, "Mr. James Bond, would you like to write a Matrix film?" There was absolutely no word to say no. That is not the film I would write. I did not enjoy it the first time, but weirdly, within the first 20 minutes, there was something that happened, and I actually can't remember what it was, but I was sitting there and I was thinking, this is great, and I can't believe that this exists.
This was
I cannot believe
my
that
cinema
this film...
reaction was sitting in the screen, absolutely giggling my tits off of I cannot believe they've done this. And especially surrounded by, again, lots of other people who were like, yeah, we have the Matrix. We watched all of them. We're very intense. And then just pissing all over it. It's just like,
but yeah, Charlie and Dan do not look happy.
I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. And I think that the whole Warner Brothers thing is obviously a big fuck off.
Again, but we will get into this in a moment. It's feeling more and more like a documentary every day.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably definitely the thing of Warner Brothers were going to push to make a Matrix film with or without any of this cast or crew, and it seemed like the rest of the film was just okay. We'll try and make a sequel to this.
Yeah,
there are aspects of it that I really liked. I really liked the thought of some of the machines at the end of the period between the end of the third and the beginning of this is that some of the machines have kind of aligned with the humans. They've realized the kind of the human struggle and all stuff like that. I really liked that. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Again, the designs of some of this, like of those, the two that rescue the body of Neo, I really like the designs of that. Like there were some aspects of it
Charlie
really
did
liked.
not seem to like
There was
the
a-
invisible dolphin.
The bird dolphin thing was weird.
Pokemon looking thing.
Yeah.
I
I just because I was sat in front of you, all I heard was fucking hell. But so there are some aspects of it I really do like. Like I like that aspect. I liked the thought of seeing. I really liked Keanu Reeves in this. His like the way he was portraying like somebody struggling or like not knowing. Like I really liked that aspect of him still thinking he's in the mate. Obviously he is, but like that struggle that he had mentally was really cool. Like so I don't hate it. I think it's such a fucking completely wayward version of a different Matrix film that I'm a little bit. It didn't feel like a Matrix film. It was weird. Yeah. I don't like the fact that I don't know. So some of the kind of the fighting scenes or the way Neo is just continuously like doing this shield protection thing. I didn't like that.
There's a lot of force pushing.
The force pushing and this kind of like shielding power he has. I felt like that was a bit. There was too much of that.
A bit passive.
Yeah, I can see what they're doing.
Cool.
I can see what they're doing by making him a bit.
Missile towards the other
I like the fact that they made him a bit like they made him weaker, which you can expect after being like that for 60 years. But it felt like to me they made him possibly not too weak, but some of those things. It just felt there was quite a lot of repetitiveness in some of the choreographed ideas of the fight.
Yeah, no, again, in terms of how we were talking earlier about, the first three are fantastic action movies. This isn't a fantastic. Again, I love this movie. None of these don't even rank in like the top 20 Matrix fight scenes, and there probably aren't 20 fight scenes in the first three. Like it's not that type of film. Some of them look really nice. Yeah, I love the Ollie said it as we were watching it, but the way they use you open up a door, like they evolved that from the stuff that we were seeing earlier, when it's like not even at the same angle now. You're like coming out the floor. You're like flying through the roof.
I also like the idea of the operator is in the Matrix with them, but they're not there. Yeah, like it's a projection of the operator. I really like that idea. That's cool. But it's so far from what I was expecting. I think and it wasn't even like you two like were saying, like you like I knew you really liked it, and I knew you were like kind of like, yeah, it's okay, but that didn't make me. That isn't taken into account in my decision about how I feel about this film.
Yeah. I feel like I need to see it again or watch it again.
Again, I think with the context, I think if you know what you're going into, and this is the main point that I'll make about it is, and it was the thing I sent Ollie literally as I came out of the screening. Again, if you are looking for a really good Matrix film, this isn't going to tick that box. What this film does so well for me is just as a love letter to these two characters. Like the ending of it is just food for the soul.
Greatest love story ever told.
Right? It's so, and again, if you just. It feels like fan fiction to its own property, and I really like that about it.
You said earlier about it being kind of you like the Neo and Trinity love story.
Oh yes, yeah.
And this was definitely like
Yeah, it was quite heartbreaking having him watch constantly, like her getting on with her life, and he's just kind of still stuck in this with Chad, and he's still stuck in like this cycle of loneliness, and he's basically back where he was in the very first film, where he was just alone. But in the first one, he kind of accepts that, but with this, he has that inkling in the back of his head that she's more than just Tiff or whoever this woman is in the calf. That was quite heartbreaking to watch.
See, I disagree with you, Dan, because I have two favourite elements about this film, but probably my favourite element is the whole 20-minute sequence when he gets told by Jonathan Groff, and then the following montage where they're just sat in the room and all the execs are trying to say, well, if you could condense the Matrix into one word, what is bullet time? We have to reinvent the genre. You can tell that these were probably real life conversations that Lana had to sit there and listen to all of these fucking dickheads who were probably not even born when she was developing the first film, trying to come up with buzzwords and marketing ideas, and so and I thought that was great. I think it's
a fucking Jefferson airplane.
Yeah. If this film, if you had to describe this film in one word, I'd say meta. Yeah. It's so insanely self-aware. I really, really like, and I can't remember the actress's name, and it really annoys me. She was in she was in both seasons of Iron Fist, and she's the best part about that show. The woman that plays Bugs.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
She's my favourite character.
And I really worry that this is because I haven't seen her in anything since then.
No,
right?
neither
and
have
I worry that this is going to be like, what's his name from Solo, of just like, well, you killed the franchise. Yeah. No, she's one of the best bits about this.
She's my favourite part about it. This is one thing that we didn't talk about in the discussion beforehand. Is how obviously the whole red pill movement has been co-opted by complete
misunderstood.
Exactly.
A very misunderstood franchise.
One cool little thing, I actually liked the design of the pills themselves in these films. In this new film. Yeah. In the original one, they kind of look like Mike and Ike's. Yeah. They'd be really gummy and chewy, whereas this one they actually look like a pill that you can take. How did you feel? So I did not know what to expect when I went to watch this film at all. And one thing that really irritated me was Morpheus when I first watched it. And now I know what to expect, and I've had time to sort of digest it over the last 3 years. I actually really and I like Sterling K. Brown as an actor. Yeah. I've said that before.
It's not Sterling K. Brown, is it?
Is it not? Who is it?
No, it's the guy that plays Black Manta in.
Oh yeah. Sorry, and it's Alia.
I know.
And he's Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen show for HBO. He's really good in that as well. Really good, he's really cool in it, and I just love how drippy he is. Every scene he's wearing a new suit, and it's really cool.
Whoever did the tailoring in this movie,
spot on. So it's not Morpheus, is it?
Well,
it is.
Morpheus and Smith written together.
Yeah.
So it's an amalgamation.
So it's a program of Morpheus, because obviously Morpheus isn't.
So everything written back into it with also bits of Smith in
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the new Smith,
Jonathan Groff, was incredible.
But the amount of sexual tension I got between him and Neo in their fight scenes and their talk scenes, I was like,
so good.
I was like,
I wish there was
more than just fight him.
I wish there was more of him. I kind of wish he was the main villain. I said this to Harry in the car. I don't really like MPH. The one thing I wanted more of, and I'll let you guys speak after this because obviously I've seen it already and I want to get your opinions. I wanted a bit more clarity as to how the hell they actually got into that position. The civil war between the machines seems like a really cool idea, right? Yeah. And this idea of, okay, so peace has lasted and the architect kept his word and everything, but ultimately, you are going to have a lot of people, probably a growing amount of people that would rather remain in the Matrix, and ultimately you are going to end up with a power depletage. Because if there are more and more people getting freed, then the machine city is going to... Yeah. And I really liked the idea. That was one of my predictions when I went into the new film. I was like, if there is going to be a conflict between man and machine again, it's going to come from the fact that at some point the machines are going to have to supplement their energy supply. Yeah. And I like the idea of a machine civil war, but they don't really explain at what point the Matrix sort of got rewritten, at what point did they reinsert, and who is... Where is the... It's not the arbitrator. Is the analyst? Where does the analyst come from? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who instated him? What happened to the other machines? Did all of the machines that were fighting against the evil machines just defect and go to the new city? Where is the new city? At what point did that
Yeah.
get established? Because it's kind of vague. And as I said to you, I said it jokingly, but Jada Pinkett Smith in that movie is meant to be in like her 90s.
Yeah.
Because they say it's at least 60 years after
So all of that you've just explained has happened at some point within the past 60 years.
Yeah. But I did like how my big gripe with the Star Wars sequels, right? And we've all said how much we love The Last Jedi at this table. But my big gripe with Harry. My big gripe with the Force Awakens is that it basically means that everything was for nothing. Right? If you watch that film immediately after watching Return of the Jedi, it's like, right, okay, so all of the plight and trials and tribulations that the original characters went through in those 3 films was all for nothing. Because 30 years later, everybody's fucking depressed. The Empire is back, but this time bigger and badder and more eviler. And Han Solo's a fucking grifter and bum who's like ruined his marriage. And Luke tried to kill his nephew in cold blood. What the fuck was all of this for? And this film, Neo basically says that.
Yeah.
And I really like, because if it like, at least they acknowledge that. It's like, what was the original films for?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's so many legacy sequels and reboots that have come out in the last sort of 10, 15 years to these older franchises where it's just sort of like, if you actually think about it, it cancels out the previous films or makes them for nothing. At least this film, Neo was like, well...
It acknowledges that.
Yeah.
It acknowledges what that film is doing, basically.
And it shows him, like, sad about it. Because it's like, he did go through all of that. He lost Trinity. He went blind. He gave his life. Yeah. And the piece was, like, for nothing. Where it only lasted like 10, 15 years before things went bad again. But
I really like so the whole Trinity ended up being able to basically have the same powers as Neo.
Or better.
Or better.
Yeah.
I really like the whole when she smashes his chin and then clicks and then she resets it and then them both flying off together holding hands. Like I really like that ending.
Yeah.
And then they've basically done a remix version of
No. So that already existed, I believe. That was. I don't even know if the story about that band is correct for this conversation. But that is by a ska punk band who, at the time, I don't know the exact timeline, but there's a whole thing of they got kind of in trouble for their lead singer pissing on a dude out of the middle of a concert.
Nice.
And lots of people were up in arms in that, and then like 2 months later they ended up doing the soundtrack to this. Because again, Lana wants what she wants, you know?
Yeah.
And like letting the freak flag fly, as they say a couple of times in this.
I think that's what a bit of my thing is. I think that obviously I'm never going to say that rewatching the original trilogy is ever a bad idea, but it probably was a bad idea in terms of watching Resurrections.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I felt like there was too many little throwbacks and little nods to the past that I had just watched.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had watched Resurrections when it first came out in 2003, and then I go and watch something pretty much 20 years later, or near 20 years later, and I hadn't rewatched any of the others, then it probably would have stuck with me a bit more, and I would have watched it with a bit more.
I will also say that I think it uses the flashbacks in a way that at least feels like its flashbacks and its callbacks feel meaningful to me in a way that.
The ones they've selected.
When you think of like the way that like the Terminator films have done it, and like what Terminator 3 is, where it's just we've just got a different character saying the slogans. This feels a lot more lived in, a lot more natural, a lot more like. I feel like there's reason for it in this, in the way that a lot of other legacy sequels don't necessarily do.
Yeah,
it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. I still can't get my head around it a little bit. I do feel like I'll probably end up watching it again. Like soonish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go on, Charles. You look like you got something
mad.
to say. Elaborate, Charles.
No.
It's not a thought behind those eyes.
Not a thought. Not a thought.
I'm trying to think of other bits because I know. Obviously, I've only just watched it, so I'm still digesting stuff. But I know there were other bits in it that I really liked. I'm just. My mind's a bit of a blur at the moment. It was a lot to take in. Yeah. It is a heck of a lot to take in.
Any scenes that you like, Charlie?
Yeah. So I really liked all of the Jonathan Groff stuff. The game. I've been watching a lot of Mythic Quest recently, so that reminded me a lot of a lot of that. I it's a blur right now.
If you disliked,
I agreed with Dan, so I didn't the flashbacks I didn't think they were important, but I think that there was a bit too many of them. I would have liked to have seen more of the Civil War stuff, same as you.
I quite liked the idea of the swarm. I quite like that idea.
Yeah.
That they've. It seems that the upgrades that they've done to the new Matrix you can kind of see that they were upgrades that would be made to stop another Neo or basically a Matrix 1 to 3 happening again.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't just have 3 agents that just can turn into people. You literally just
have just bots
click people on and then they just go.
basically.
Which the other thing, the bots just jumping out of windows
Yeah.
and turning into bot bombs was I wasn't expecting that either.
No.
Where they were just kamikazing out of the windows and it was just literally like
just bursting into code as they hit the ground.
that scene was mad.
Really
That was
like
mad. It was Chad's a dick, isn't he?
it's so perfect because even if you don't know who that is, it's like, he's just a fucking Chad. And then if you do know who that is, that's fucking Chad.
And this kid, her kid just going, "You're trying to bone my mom?" Just like, calm down there.
Everyone that isn't Neo or Trinity in this first 20 minutes is just the worst person. Just like his little assistant dude who's just like. It's quite a MILF, isn't it? It's like, dude, shut up.
The other thing I was thinking of when I was watching it was, obviously we're so used to seeing Keanu Reeves now with just beard and long hair, John Wick, this, and then I was thinking to myself, it'd be quite cool to see him with his short hair and no beard, and then he comes out in the real world and he's just bald and no hair. I was like, it didn't look like him. I was like, that looked weird.
I defend the look of this film a lot. I know a lot of people are like, the visuals are really bad in it. I will say every time you see what everyone else is apparently seeing with the bald cap or whatever, that looks awful.
I didn't really look at it as him having a ball cap on.
Well, it's the look that they've gone for. I don't think works.
I have a question with something I think I didn't realize because there's so much information where they're updating you on what's happened in the past 6 years and that the the kind of like the synthetic figures that are floating that you say kind of look like the things out of Man of Steel. So is that basically a program from the Matrix that's able to transfer themselves into a physical form in the real world?
I believe they've taken that code and then put them into the magnets so they're controlling that as So if they don't have the body in the way that the big dolphin guys or whatever the fuck have the bodies.
Okay, yeah, that's I like that idea. Yeah, that's cool.
I really like the imagery of him, and you mentioned Dr. Manhattan. The imagery of when he's standing up in front of the big fucking cylinder as he's infiltrating and turning into the nano machines. I think that looks really nice.
So the conflict basically arises, right? This is me trying to wrap my head around it. So if you're trying to piece together a timeline of these films, Neo's sacrifice at the end of Revolution, right? Peace is established, and they're on the 7th iteration of the Matrix, or it might even be the 8th because they kind of reset it, I guess, at the end of the last one. At some point in between that film and this one, the power starts to go out in the Machine City, so the machines start fighting against themselves. I'm guessing you're going to have the machines that are loyal to the architect and want to maintain peace. Those are the ones that defect and join humanity. And then you have a faction that comes on under the analyst in this one, Neil Patrick Harris, and they basically go back to the status quo, I'm guessing. The only difference is they figure out that Neo and Trinity in close proximity generate an insane amount of power. So that's why they're keeping their battery pods really close together.
I do love that look as well of the two pods.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's really cool.
The anomalium or whatever they call it. Just good word, good look. Very into that.
Basically, the only reason for there being any conflict in this film is because inside the Matrix, Neo yearns for Trinity.
Yeah.
That's basically it. There's no other reason for there to be any other conflict.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I was curious as whether it was because I don't know if I've missed anything, because Jada Pinkett Smith basically says that shit's better than it ever has been.
Yeah.
They've got an artificial sky, they've got a little mini climate going on, they can grow plants. It's kind of, at least in the other film, Morpheus is like really badly trying to wake up as many people as possible because the reality is like an absolute living nightmare. But by the end of the last one, they're like, hang on a minute, yeah, there's some people that actually want to live in the Matrix, you know? And like that's kind of still the case here. Those that want to leave, like they never explicitly say that the analyst is reinserting people or that he's keeping their people against their will. And the city seems to be fine, like they're growing people.
Did he not?
So they're growing fruit and everything.
Did he? Did the analyst also allude to that there is people higher up than him?
Yeah, this is what I was getting.
So like the suits.
Yeah, he calls them.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff he like hints at of like there's an idea of currency. He's like, oh, this was really fucking expensive. There's a lot of like weirdly weird wording that would imply some sort of machine hierarchy. That
this is what I'm kind of struggling to get my head around.
The issue is obviously if you present that in a more detailed way, then you end up with the council speeches from Reloaded and Revolutions and lots of people talking about stuff that the majority of the audience aren't going to care about. But
do you think that's the that kind of ambiguity or that confusion you got? I feel like is kind of the same as when the first film came out, because there would have been a lot of questions at the end of that film when it would first come out. But now we've got more like, I'm not saying I don't think they are going to do any more on, but if they did another one, maybe that's explained more.
It might be. I mean, I don't
think they will do it.
I don't know. I don't think they will do it, and I don't necessarily think there are a lot of unanswered questions at the end of the first one. I think it acquits itself really well. I think this one, there is this deliberately. This is why I'm a little bit. This is why this film is it's not as good as any of the old ones. Yeah. And ultimately, the buck stops with Lana because she did write it. And it's like, well, why put in all of these vagaries and allusions to a machine hierarchy and sort of not make it clear? Like, if you just want the conflict to be because Neo misses Trinity, like, what is going on there? Just have that be... That's why I'm confused. I was asking you guys if I missed anything because, like, it doesn't really...
No, again, for me, I think it is the thing that I balance, again, why I like this film. I think the important thing to take away from it is it doesn't matter. Like, the bits why this film are good are not the bits that are about the Matrix. Like, the bits that I enjoy about this film are, like, she's just put that, and I don't want to say she just put that in to get to the end, to get to the end game or to justify everything else. But in, again, the first film when... lots of people coming out of it of like, well, what if this is real? What if we think like this? And what if we think like this? And again, her reaction to that just being like, no, that's a kind of plot point, mate. Like,
I agree.
That's not the focus of this film. This film is Trinity and Neo. To a certain extent, I think it kind of, you come away from it like Trinity is the main character in this movie.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, therefore, in the franchise, is like basically saying there would be no Neo without Trinity. And again, I think it is means to an end, and I don't know what to say. I just really like the end. I just really like the like, again, turning to Chad of just like, I hate that fucking name, and then like Scorpion kicking him is like
they have great chemistry. She's still got it. Carrie Ann Moss should be in more stuff. I think they could have. You could do a version of this film where Keanu Reeves isn't in it, and it's literally just Carrie Ann Moss, and I'd still find it entertaining. I still think she's a really compelling. I would still think, that she's a really compelling. I just because my mind immediately goes to, well, okay, if Neil Patrick Harris needs these two to be close together, and the only reason why this is in jeopardy is because in The Matrix, Neo is starting to question his reality because he loves her that much. Why not augment it so that they have their own tiny private Matrix somewhere else where they can be together and be happy? Well, I think you've negated the entire issue. You can keep them in their pods.
Isn't it kind of implied?
He says that because he says in it that there's the reason why it's so powerful is because you are so close, but you could never be together.
Yeah, but
that's what makes it powerful.
I thought he meant that about the literal real world.
Well, I mean,
like it's the real world, but then that's also the same with the Matrix. So for him, he's seen her all the time, but he can never be with her whilst he's in the Matrix, because she has no inkling whatsoever. Really, she says she has these dreams and that, but it's not until he starts actually talking to her, and that instigates a memory for her, or like she says, a dream. So I think the reason why they had like they do it in the Matrix is because they are physically away from it, so they can't be together.
Well, I think
that's what it is.
I think the bit that also muddies the timeline on that a bit is you see the sequences where it's like he's rebuilding them and they're kind of reaching out for each other, and it's like you kept trying this over and over again, but then none of them remember. Like they seem to be conscious during those scenes.
Yeah.
Like it seems to be like they are in their own, like they maybe were in their own little thing, but then that doesn't quite.
And then every time they make contact, it's like
then
starts again and they forget
and so
again.
it maybe feels like this is actually like iteration 14 or 15 by this stage. It isn't super clear on that.
Well, this is why I was going to say it's interesting. This is why I said earlier, and we'll bring it up again, that it was just Lana that came back this time, because there was a part of me that thinks that as a duo, maybe Lily was the one that was more into the sort of intricacies of the screenplay and that would be more interested in making this watertight. And you said about the visuals, I think there are so many elements in this film where they are not as good as the original. The score, for one, for me, the choreography and the visuals, all three of them. And it's put under a microscope a bit when you're literally showing us like interspliced shots from the original trilogy and then cutting back to this, where there are some shots that look like slop. There are some that are really good and like really cool, and I was like, that's really good. And then there are some where it's just like Neil Patrick Harris center frame in what looks like a TikTok ring light, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like was that shot by an intern on a fucking iPhone 14? So like I think maybe I don't know. Maybe Lily was the more interested in some of the more technical elements to it, and because she didn't come back, this is them only firing on 50% cylinders, or maybe I don't know. I don't know that much about them as a duo. Which one focuses on what and who has better proclivities or also, skills?
If I remember remembering rightly, Lana was basically second unit on this as well, right? She did all of the action.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, again, I think is a fucking sick idea. Like, more of that. Again, I think it's one of those things that I will always disagree with people of like, oh, it doesn't look very good. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it personally.
I think some of the scenes that I didn't feel were as like kind of, I don't know if you felt the scenes were the same. The one where when Neo's talking, he goes to talk to Trinity when she's at the bike shop, and then it's just him doing shit ton of like Neo slow-mo, but Neil Patrick Harris is basically moving at a normal speed. I thought that whole scene was quite long, and there was a lot of talking. It was just a lot of the say. Like I wasn't a massive fan of that. Everyone moving slow whilst he was moving fast, because he was still looked blurred. It just looked a bit off to me.
That for me was one of the worst sequences. I tell you what's it's really strange. The sequence inside the pretty much everything inside the tower block. Like the conversation he has with Jonathan Groff, and then the shootout where Jonathan Groff clocks for the first time and goes to pick up the gun. That looks like it could be deleted stuff from the original trilogy. It's really well covered, really well lit. And then you got like the stuff in the bike shed, and then the shots of them around the well. I know that that's meant to be an AI reality, but like Jesus Christ, it's hard to believe that it was lensed by the same person in places.
The other bit, and it is the one bit that I will say, okay, that looks bad, and I've always assumed this is because obviously, this was one of the films that was shot over COVID and all of that stuff. And it also means we get to talk about the elephant in the room that we haven't spoken about. The Merovingian seems like he was not on that part of the set. He is just somewhere else, miles away from all of them, shouting about bullshit in French. And
I don't know if I like that bit.
On the one hand, it's kind of awful. On the other hand, it's so silly that I'm like,
when he popped up, I was like, oh, here we go. And then I felt like they kind of, I know he was a funny character he was a funny character in the other one, but he was also a bit serious and a little bit menacing. But they kind of just turned that character into a joke.
Yeah, he is full on like,
and I didn't like that about it,
full on like boomer at this stage as well, of just like, you ruined books. Like we had stories before you came along with your special effects.
I didn't really like that almost that iteration of that character.
Yeah, almost everyone is a joke. That's one of my criticisms of it. Almost everyone is a joke. Hardly anyone. Well, it doesn't take itself seriously at all. And like, I think that's why I had like quite a visceral reaction to it when I watched it the first time, because I was like, my prediction was the first sort of 20 minutes were going to play out exactly the same, and then Jonathan Groff was going to realise he was Smith, and it was going to basically be like a loose remake of the first film, but with him as the Hugo Weaving part, and then it just goes on a complete tangent and become something completely different. And it really pissed me off because Jonathan Groff basically plays it for a laugh. But looking at it now, I'm like, yeah, Jonathan Groff plays it for a laugh, and he's actually really good. And I don't hate it. It's just my least favorite of the four.
I don't think I like the fact that they like he said, our alliance, like the whole Smith having a so-called alliance with Neo at the end, like kind of saving him a little bit. Again, that isn't the Smith character. Like, to me, if I see Smith or hear the name Smith within that world whatsoever, it's Agent Smith, and he's a fucking threat the whole time. Whereas again, like there a lot of these characters have been I suppose they have been rewritten because the Matrix has been rewritten. But then again, he's always said that he's been free. You set me free. Yeah. He just survived within the Matrix.
I think they justify that enough to me in terms of the whole thing with Smith in the first place, as the original Free Evolve, is Smith basically becoming, his own thing within the system. And I think the justification of, I don't like having a leash back on me, I'm going to do what I can. And again, he then immediately heel turns on them and starts dropping bomb people out of the windows at them. So it's not necessarily, I wouldn't say that's an alliance, and I wouldn't say it breaks that. The one fan theory I had going in, or not necessarily going into this, and this one I've told to Ollie before, what I kind of wish they had done with the Smith character, and that's no disrespect to Jonathan Groff, I think he plays it really well in this, but what I was convinced they were doing when you first see him like reach for the gun really early on was going to be that actually he's not Smith. The dude is just so main charactered that he is convinced he must be the bad guy, and I really wanted Neil Patrick Harris to just turn around and be like, okay, sorry, who are you? And it does kind of confirm that he is Smith, and that was a bit like, I wanted if you're going to do just tech bro asshole as like that villain, like fully lean in.
I am pleased that he didn't do an impression, because I the very first trailer I'm pretty sure opens with him doing his whole like millions of people just living, and I was just like, oh that's not. But he doesn't. He makes it his own. I will say this is a tiny little nitpick and a gripe of mine. For the second half of the movie, when he shows up, he's wearing a purple suit, and it pisses me off because he should be wearing a green suit. It's like, if there's any color, that I associate with Agent Smith, it's green. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure in the first film, all three agents wear black, but when you get into the second, third, his is a subtle shade of green. Yeah. So it would have been nice if he was just wearing like an olive suit or whatever, but he wears a purple one.
Well, I've done it just thinking about other little gripes or like. I feel like I did laugh at the point where they're like, "Oh, Neo, can you still fly?" And he has to do the fly thing. He's like, "Nah." I don't know whether that was a good joke or whether, like, I don't know. I know. Don't get me wrong. I know Keanu Reeves is old. Or he's old, completely a lot older than he was there.
Yeah, you lose the ability to fly when you hit 50, mate. He can't do it anymore.
But like, do you think they played him too old, or like that kind of thing made him look like? I just felt like the movement and the choreography, I know, like, just made it feel like he was.
Again, I think that is intentional. I am very much of the opinion, and it's when you were saying about The Force Awakens, the reason why I like that movie. Especially when we've talked a lot about like weaponized nostalgia in other franchises. I really like the idea of a film being willing to disappoint its fans and not just have him be the superhero. I like the bravery of it. I like how unexpected it is.
You just described The Last Jedi.
No, I haven't.
That's why The Last Jedi is great.
I described the first half of The Last Jedi where I'm like, I really like the idea that Luke Skywalker's a bad guy, and then he isn't, and he just fades away at the end and gets a hero's death.
He doesn't even show up at the end. It's a fucking FaceTime call.
That's fucking
awful. Charlie, what are some elements that you didn't like?
I think we pretty much nearly covered everything. I think I'm missing like 30 minutes of the film in my head.
Yeah.
I feel like I've got something missing in my head.
There's nothing I hated. I didn't like the AI thing. I didn't like the Pidgeotto thing flying around for
Pidgeotto.
In my prediction, I said it would be something to do with the
the door. Same actress, right? I think, Ollie, you were saying on the way over, weren't you? It's the same
Yeah.
Same actress that played
Really?
the little, yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
Priyanka?
the kid is the same actress grown up.
Is it Priyanka Chopra?
90% sure.
Is it? Is it really?
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm 90% sure.
Should we do a live fact check?
I'm going to be made to look a mug right
Does
now.
anyone know why they both didn't come back for this? Directors.
Only going from what I know from Wikipedia, it was a case that they were both originally saying that they were done, and then their parents passed away, and Lana had it as a passion project and sort of a way to heal. And again, I think if you watch it in that context of, again, what I think this film is a really nice, is just hanging out with cool friends from the 90s. Like, I think, and again, I think that's one of the reasons why it disappointed a lot of people, because it feels so personal. It feels, again, no one else could have made this movie, I don't think. Again, whatever you think they should have done.
I would have liked to have seen a Lawrence Fishburne cameo, maybe.
Yeah, the statue.
Yeah, it didn't look like him.
There's
Maybe the same
He
one
was
that Raid there.
he said he was disappointed that he wasn't asked to come back, but I can't think of a storyline where he's in it. Like, in terms of, if you look at that film I've watched, I can't really think of where they would place him in it, apart from all the flashbacks.
I'm trying to fact check. I've just realised I'm not on the.
Huh? Say that into the mic.
I didn't want to say into the mic because I didn't want anybody to think
I don't think it is that, because they had Jada Pinkett Smith walking around like an old lady.
Yeah, but
He
they made her up to do that. I didn't want anybody to
But
think
like
I was being mean about Lawrence Fishburne because I love him. But
You can still hear. I still heard you on the mic.
Sorry, part of me thought when this film went into pre-production, because he has put on a bit of timber, that maybe they didn't ask him back because he's too fat. Because he is. You watch him in Man of Steel when he's running away from the falling down building, and it's bless his heart. I can't talk at all. I am an overweight person. I love Lawrence Fishburne, and I would have had him in this as like 300 pounds, like doing kung fu and shit. Like, I don't get, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be fucking badass. But maybe the people at Warner Brothers were like, no, he's too.
The only thing I could think of is if he was still with Niobe, or like in that kind of, he's bedbound or whatever, because she's going to be like 90 odd in it.
Well, she should be. She didn't look she was very spry for a 90.
She's walking around with a little bit of a hunchback.
Strawberries,
Yeah, the AI grown strawberries.
I do love her plan of, we're going to lock him away in a cell. It's going to have a balcony and an open door.
Yeah.
Haven't been this through, did you?
The bullet time stuff reminded me of when you leave clear motion on your TV.
Oh, okay.
When
Yeah, I
you
know
do,
what
like,
you mean.
intelligent
Yeah.
frame creation, when it just like.
Why did they put that as an option on telly? Just out of curiosity, what is the point? Did you find out?
No, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. So,
Oh, okay.
Oh well, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So
listeners, perhaps Google in your
Comment down below.
correct us for a video that's going to be 4 or 5 days old by the time.
Considering you're now at like probably 2 hours 15, if you're still here, also thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're at 2 hours 15. I think.
We were like an hour and a half for the first part, right?
Yeah. Good. Are we? Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any thoughts you'd like to add on our first ever joint viewing and joint talk?
I think that has covered. I think we have covered a lot of ground. I'm glad you guys have finally seen it again.
Yeah.
My feeling was very excited about this until last night of like, they're gonna hate it. Shit.
I didn't hate it.
I don't hate it. It was just I was expecting
It's
something.
underwhelming, isn't it?
I think it was
yeah.
a bit that was spoiled for me, but I think someone mentioned to me beforehand, like, you want to know what this film, or I think it came out on Twitter, like, you want to know what this film is. There's a coffee shop called the Simulate that sets the tone, and
Wow.
I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Again, considering we talked about, the meaning behind it being the Nebuchadnezzar, the meaning behind this, and this, when you're literally at the point of, it's the fucking Simulate.
The cat is called Deja Vu.
Deja Vu, yeah.
It's madness.
If you were to give it a letterbox score out of 5, if you
I'm still thinking about it.
still thinking about it.
I was thinking about it in my head. I was like, what? Like,
No, my famous gun has come back out. you've got to rate it now.
honestly, I can't.
Rate it now.
I'm still trying to rate Wicked from last night in my head.
That ain't that hard.
Yeah, I find it difficult. I find it so difficult to rate
Both
films.
films about defying gravity.
I 3 out of 5.
I think that's what I gave it the last time. I think I'll probably give it the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about it.
It's considerably better than a 50% film, but it's nowhere near as good as any of the others, in my opinion.
It's no way as bad as I've had friends talk about it to me, and it's
the
worst film known to man, in their opinion. So,
it's by far not the worst film known to man.
And what you were when you were saying about pointing at Ollie here, I'm now realizing that it's going, what you were saying. When you were saying about some of these films look like slop, it's very hard for me to put that into context, considering we saw Megalopolis this year. Like,
I was gonna say,
right,
you
be like,
compare
this
it to
film
like
looks bad.
95% of Cape shit, but there are some shots. I'm gonna hold you to this. I'll put it in the group chat. There are some shots where I was like, oh god. But the same. But what's frustrating is that there is, as I said, equally there are some really
I really
good
like
looking
the
stuff
color in this movie. Especially
exactly.
when so many people, so much of what you think about the first three are like, oh, it's just green.
Yeah,
and like desaturated. This film has a lot of oranges. It's a lot of It's interesting, again, that we were saying, the city in the first one is just this endless sprawl, and in this one you can go, oh no, that's San Francisco. And you can see it as that, and I don't necessarily know why I think that's interesting. I just think that's interesting. I like the amount of it that is just two people sitting at a coffee shop, like chatting shit. I wish, and this would not look good on camera, but I wish I could see what the game they are talking about looks like. Because all you see is footage from a video game or from the other film.
From the movie.
So it's like, are we watching cutscenes here?
Yeah.
Or is like the biggest game in the world a 90s FMV, like you press X to interact thing? Which I would be down with, but yeah, I don't think they would be able to get. What I would love is to have all of those recreated in like PS2 graphics or something weird like that. They would never fucking do that, but.
Could you imagine if their games looked like movies?
I really want to play the game.
What, Binary? Is it called Binary?
Enter the Matrix.
Enter the Matrix.
Enter the Matrix is the rough. Like, it's fine. Path of Neo is the one that goes fucking batshit. So actually, we were going to say about some of that stuff. So Morpheus also isn't in this movie because canonically he died in The Matrix Online. He was killed by a man who can control rats who jumped out of a sewer and shot him. And the bit that I alluded to ends.
It's the Underminer from.
I think so. That could also be a fever dream. A lot of what I've heard about The Matrix Online kind of go either way. And yeah, the ending. I don't even know if this makes it in at this point. We may be done. But the ending of The Path of Neo is Lana and Lily turn up on screen in the form of stickmen, say, the sacrificial story and Jesus metaphor we were going for doesn't really play in terms of a video game. So this is how video game fans would want it to end. And it turns into all of the Smiths combining into one giant Smith who grabs a pair of sunglasses off of a billboard to put them on. Neo beats the shit out of him while the people of Zion are watching, cheering along. And then once he wins, it does like the shot at the end, with the rainbow and whatever, while We Are the Champions plays by Queen.
Wow.
Wait, did you say there was a rainbow in the sky?
This is a rainbow.
Is that a link to at the end where they say about all rainbows in the sky?
Everything in rainbows,
That's possibly worse than Spike's
what, the Spike Lee
NBA 2K.
Missing scene just on that fucking storyline.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we probably will at some point, given by how much we were able to fill the first half of this episode. We probably will do an episode at the very least, I'm guessing, on The Matrix Reloaded, because we all seem to love that one a lot.
I reckon it'll turn into all three, to be honest.
But we probably will at a later date.
Oh yeah, not for a while.
Yeah. We'll give you all a break. Well, there's going to be anniversaries. Well, maybe not. Maybe if this podcast is still going in 2029.
Oh, it will be. It will be. Maybe.
Well, according to the Terminator, that's when we're supposed to be at war with the machines.
Shit.
We could always put this one in the tank and then have it as the 5th anniversary of The Matrix. The Matrix Resurrections. It took us this long to get here.
Oh, God. 9 years. Right, are we all good? Anything else to add, finally?
Can we give a tease to what our next episode is? Yeah. I can't even remember.
Oh, I can't even.
That's a few on the docket.
I think our next
Captain America.
No.
Are we doing that?
No. It's film anniversaries
coming out next.
So this one
will be
is episode 10, and then 11th episode is film anniversaries. So that's the next one after that. And then after that is Martin McDonagh. And then American Psycho, I believe. They are the next ones.
So we're not doing a Captain America one?
I'll cut this bit out. That's before. Because we're episode 10.
Yeah. No, don't cut it out. Leave it in. I want
the
the
first edit. Is that?
No,
I'm gonna.
I want the audiences to hear this. This is raw. This is
raw. So,
yeah.
so we've still to record 9.
Okay.
Which is next week.
If the audience have had to hear some of the shit I've come out with, they get to hear this as well.
Yeah, they're gonna hear. Yeah, this is.
If I don't get
this is all part of the journey.
We'll do it live. Do it live. This is behind the scenes.
And Truman Show's going to be in there somewhere.
I was reading up about Truman Show the other day.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I just got the urge for
a little
some
bit
reason.
of prep.
Do you ever just do a deep dive on Wikipedia?
If
I
I
would
would
love
bored,
one.
you just
Half of my facts from here are that anyway.
Yeah, sometimes I just get bored. I just started a bit morbid, but I just started reading at work the other day about Fred and Rose West.
Wow, that was your cup of tea reading.
The Truman Show is not how I remember it.
It came up in conversation with a colleague, and I was like, "Yeah,
I think I remember you saying about this.
Yeah, so I just pulled up the Wikipedia article and started reading. I was like, "Yeah."
Is that one of
nasty way to go?
That's one of those situations of like I've ended up on the Wikipedia for stuff like that, and then there's been a picture, and I'm just like, I knew that was coming. Why did I do this to myself? Like, didn't need to see that? Like,
I'll tell you where there's a horrendous picture on Wikipedia.
We're getting into it.
On the Jack the Ripper victims page, there is one of the earliest photographs that Scotland Yard was able to take at a homicide scene. And it's the fifth and final victim, who was the only one to be killed inside. So he was able to take a lot more time mutilating her, and it's just okay. I decided to, for some reason, read up about Jack the Ripper in the middle of the night over Christmas, and I was just scrolling with the lights off in my house. Just got to that bit, and I was like, and I threw my phone across the room.
Next episode, missing scene, autopsy photos.
The only thing I could quickly link it to is From Hell with Johnny Depp. We can maybe do an episode on that.
Well, Harry did talk about Alan Moore earlier, so
it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Right. So I'll do our little
sign off. Yeah.
Sign off. So, well, you can follow us, please. Do follow us. Share us on Instagram. We are at the Missing Scene Pod. X. We are Missing Scene Pod. Our letterboxd are Charlie.
C. Westwood.
Ollie.
OJB. All caps, no spaces.
I'm Daniel Jeeves, and Ollie, Harry still doesn't have one.
Still pending.
We will get one. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. We are up every single Friday at 6 p.m. Anything else you want to say, guys? What marathon, eh? Happy 10th.
Thanks for coming
thanks
over.
for putting up with us. If you're still here, we are very appreciative.
Yeah, happy 10th anniversary. 10th episode anniversary.
10 years we've been doing this.
How long are we doing this episode for? Again, thank you as well for having us, Charlie.
Yeah, anytime.
Thank you very much. And
peering behind the curtain, it is now almost 11 o'clock. This is far later we've ever gone, and I'm very tired.
and it's Saturday, so
not
if you work in retail.
That's true.
Our Whiplash episode got later than that the other night, didn't it, boys?
Oh yeah. Right. Thank you, Ollie.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
And thank you, Harry.
Thank you for indulging me with whatever this was.
Yeah. Nah, it was good. I enjoyed it. So yeah, thank you, everybody, and you'll hear us next week. Bye-bye.